Do you like basketball? Basketball, no. I like, but I'm not good at. Yes, I'm not.
Me too.
For the podcast?
No, we should have been going.
You know,
Guys,
there is a new lifting guy that everyone likes, who's like Sam Sulek. I guess he's very nice. I forget his name. It's like Marsh or something. But
Okay.
he has a unique looking face, and it's because I guess he was in the war and he got blown up by an IED, and then he had to have plastic surgery to rebuild his face. But apparently he's a nice guy. I don't know if he's natty or not. I have a bad radar for natty or not. Although, you know who's definitely natty is I was watching the JFK Jr. show, and they showed like a shot from behind, and I was like, you know what? That's what like buff working out people used to look like. Like it wasn't crazy at all.
JFK Jr.?
Yeah.
Did he get assassinated too?
He crashed a plane because of his arrogance.
You know
He
what's
was flying
crazy
it?
is I actually, that's like a crazy coincidence because just this morning I was scrolling social media and some girl was talking about how her mom, it was like my mom throughout her entire life only ever had 3 crushes. And she said the one that she still talks about to this day is JFK Jr., like saying that was the most handsome man to ever live.
Yeah.
So that's funny that you say that.
It's because the show is there. Do you know about the show?
I don't.
There's a new Hulu show where they it's about him and Carolyn Bassett's love story, and so it's going viral, dude. It's getting a ton of hits.
Okay. Maybe
Who
I'll
the
have to
fuck
check
is
it
Carolyn Bassett?
That's the girl or the woman. I think they got married, but yeah, they used to just basically be a famous hot couple that you would see in New York City, and they would like argue in the park and stuff, and the paparazzi would take pictures. And
what a life! Oh,
Yeah.
what a life! I'm trying.
You would
to
just
get
see
into
them
freaking-
like if you went to New York City, you were just bound to see them arguing somewhere.
Yeah, and you would see him like doing one-handed push-ups and riding his bike everywhere, or you'd see them together arguing. They were toxic, but they were beautiful. She worked at Calvin Klein, in the fashion industry.
Were they really beautiful? Let me look up a picture of them.
They were good
looking. Shout out to Jackie and and JFK, but
no shade,
low-key chopped.
Well, going back to like how you said you have a bad radar for detecting if someone's natty or not. That's one of the great debates going on right now between like Jordan and LeBron.
Yeah,
is Hoopvenue natural? Is one of the big pressing debates.
Are you like? Are you shredded? Are you like? Are you?
I'm not. I dabble in the gym. I'm not.
But you're big enough for people to be like, this guy's fucking steroid.
Well, what's funny is I posted my physique once on Twitter long time ago.
I feel like I was following it because I have a distinct memory of being like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
It was I definitely have a sleeper build. I will say I definitely have a sleeper build. But I posted a picture of my physique and I had a bunch of replies were like, yo, what's your cycle? And I was like, no. And I don't know if I'm getting if I'm getting trolled or if it's like, because I personally, obviously, I mean, everyone says that like when you go to the gym, you don't view yourself as big as other people view you. But like, I've never looked at my physique and been like, this looks unnatural at all. Like, I don't even think I look that big. So where I'm just like, are other people joking or do they actually think I'm juicing?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people online, especially like the more terminally online you are, the more removed you get from like a realistic, like a nice physique, but like a realistically attainable one. That's just like, if you don't eat like complete shit and you do the right stuff, like you can look pretty good. And so I feel like a lot of people, if they just see anybody who looks good, they're like, fucking, this is fake. Which like, that's kind of, I don't know. The internet like also makes like anyone who defaults to that kind of thinking, if you've like grown up in the age of the internet, I don't really blame people because it's like, yeah, everything has been fake my entire life. So I guess
and it's also like that whole aspect, that whole like content world of those gym influencers who they will like maintain, no, I'm natural. And you look at them and it's like, dude, there is no way. It like you either have the 99.999% genetics or You're just lying to everybody.
I do like those guys though. Like Speed, there's no reason for Speed to be doing steroids. So he's just shredded and like a crazy athlete for no reason.
He's just the main character of our world. He just goes around to every country. He learns every dance. He beats everyone in their own physical competition.
He's like
incredible.
playing a story mode of a video game. He's just
like,
he's going for 100% completion. You know what's funny though? You start to as I got into the gym and realized what's naturally attainable and what isn't, and like adding X amount of muscle in a short amount of time, you start to realize a lot of those like late 90s NBA players, there's no way they weren't on the juice. Like Karl Malone, Alonzo Mourning, even when they say like, you always hear the story. I remember as a kid, I was fooled. They were like, Michael Jordan in one offseason put on 25 pounds of muscle to deal with the Pistons. And I'm like, not even professional bodybuilders can do that.
It's the same offseason he went bald, funny enough.
Wait.
Well, that's my thing. Is like Karl Malone, his arms were the size of watermelons. His hairline started at the top of his head. And they're like, well, that's just the 90s, dude. That's just, people were bald back
There was something in the air, dude, in the 90s.
I don't know.
But Jordan wasn't even that big. I thought it was natty.
Well, he was skinny. That's the problem. Is he got so big so quick. It is.
Well, it's not even I'm not even saying Michael Jordan was juicing. All I'm saying is like the folk tale of, he put on X amount of muscle to deal with the Pistons. That is a load of baloney unless this guy was juicing some crazy stuff.
And even then, I wonder how the fuck. I was thinking, it was Zach Edey who got me today. Somebody like did a thread where they like broke down the amount of calories he needs to like exist at 300 pounds at his height. And it's like, dude, how the fuck is the intake even possible here? You're drinking like a protein shake every hour or something to like stay at this weight. It's crazy.
Or you just like never stop eating, right? Like you just have a meal all the time.
Probably. What a fucking... I mean, yeah, it sounds cool, but no, it doesn't. It sounds terrible. I need a break from eating.
But also, like, imagine the appetite on Zach Edey, right? Like,
yeah.
He could probably put down like 2 whole pizzas. And
he's got to hit that Oreo milkshake from Cheesecake Factory. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about that. It's
I've never had Cheesecake Factory, so I can't vouch.
I
can't.
It's pretty... it's okay. It's fine.
They say it's a hack for the 10,000 calorie challenge. Have 10,000 calories in a day. You go and have this milkshake. I think it's like 10,000.
I don't think I'll be trying this challenge anytime soon. That sounds kind of brutal.
Oh, you sound like a coward. No, my friends always wanted to do it. I was like, I would not be able to do that. I had one friend who was very confident that he could do it, and then I think he started it, and then he like quit in a couple hours, and he's like, I can't do this today.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
It reminds me of like, you ever seen like the fantasy punishments where they have to every time they eat a pancake, they get an hour off in the Waffle House. That'd be terrible.
When my brother was trying to put on weight, because we're a pretty skinny family, he drank a gallon of milk every day for 8 months. Ooh. So like it worked. He put on muscle, but I think he stopped because milk like is very slightly a natural opiate. And it messed up his ability to sleep because he was drinking so much milk.
Wow.
But it worked. He gained like 10 or 15 pounds. So maybe that's what Michael Jordan was doing. And maybe that's why he had to go to the freaking casinos at 2 a.m. because the milk messed up his sleep. He couldn't sleep. He had to go out and freaking chill at the casinos, dude. I don't know.
I think you're onto something here. This is breaking news right here. I personally have always maintained, and I feel like anyone who's like gone through a full year of working out and dieting and stuff, like cutting is so much easier than bulking. So much easier. Like and maybe it's like I just have fast metabolism, but when I need to drop weight or want to drop weight before summer or whatever, it's a lot easier for me than in the winter where I'm like already 3 meals deep and I'm like, I gotta keep eating. It's the worst.
I just have never dieted or cut. Like I don't know. I've definitely, since I tore my ACL, I've just put on weight because like I don't do as much cardio or anything.
Yeah.
And so like I don't know. I'm definitely getting to a point where I'm like, this needs to be addressed. I've put on, like, it was cool when I was skinny my whole life, and I was like, okay, I'm bulking up a little bit, and now I'm like, damn, okay, maybe I got to figure out a cycle for the summer.
Well, the cheat code for me was, and I guess maybe it's a lot easier for me because I eat anything. Like, I'm not a picky eater at all, so whatever's put in front of me, I'll put down. But like, the easiest part for me with cutting out just hundreds of calories instantly was I would swap like chips and stuff for vegetables. Like I'll eat some celery or I'll eat some carrots instead of eating this bag of Doritos. And you don't realize how many calories are in one session of watching a YouTube video and eating some Doritos. Like, yeah. Chips are the killer.
I also don't buy that. I'll try it.
That's a crazy mentality to be like, yeah, it's all like I had Doritos, to do. Dude. All I had to do was swap my Doritos for celery. It tastes the same.
Hey, some ranch. I did. You know what's funny? One time I got so locked in that I was like, I'm gonna try this 0-calorie ranch, and I had like one dip of a carrot, and it was so bad. It was so bad. I was like,
anything.
So what I do
is awful. Oh,
this is the craziest part. I raw dog the celery and carrots, like no dressing. I'm just like bag of chips. Nope. Bag of baby carrots. I can believe
that, honestly. Like, it doesn't sound terrible. It's just like, I could never make the internal bargain with myself that those are the same. I would just be like, it fucking sucks, but I gotta eat something. I'll eat some celery, I guess. But yeah, it's not Doritos. What the fuck was I just about to say? I don't know. We're here to talk about the Western Conference today. Pablo, do you have any other bullshit you want to do on the intro before we get started?
I don't know. Should we hit 20 or how long are we thinking in total for this? Is this?
I like 2 hours would be fine. I don't care. Like, it doesn't need to be 240 or anything crazy.
Okay. Like I did get lobbyist requests, and I told them
we'll be fine.
I told them think power. So let me pull those bad boys up so I can have them ready.
Do we want to start at the bottom or the top? Because if we start at the top, it gets more boring as we go along. I feel like we have less and less to say.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I see what you mean.
What I think, honestly, in terms of the way the Western Conference is stacking up, I don't know how this would work organizationally, but the most interesting portion is the middle, the meat. So it's like knock out the Thunder are pretty good. Knock out the Bombs. And then it's like now we can talk about some teams.
Now we can talk. I feel like we always get in trouble too because people are like, I can't fucking follow these videos. Like every time we do a 25 best players or whatever, they're like, I have no idea what anybody's list is by the end of this video. So I guess, Pablo, what do you think? Start at the top, start at the bottom.
IDC. TBH.
IDC either TBH. Fuck. Let's start at the bottom. Let's rip it then. I don't care. Let's get the bums out of the way first, and then we can talk. And then we'll work our way up to the middle, and we can finish with, the Thunder's at the top, but that's not that fucking crazy anyways. All right, let me pull up some timestamps. What are we at? 13 minutes? All right. Tyler, I'll throw it to you first. Who is the bottom team in your Western Conference power rankings?
And this is just going off of this season, right? Not any type of future outlook, just where they stand right now.
Yeah, not like over the net. I mostly just meant for like the rest of the year, headed into. I mean, not for these next couple teams, but like into the playoffs, stuff like that. Yeah,
it's
but
the
don't
Kings.
think don't think peak Nick Clifford. Don't think peak Nick Clifford.
Okay,
and Devin Carter
if I was thinking about the future, the Kings would probably be top 2. But no, it's the Kings. I don't even really know if I need to go into it. I mean, the injuries, the lack of talent on both sides of the ball, the square peg. Every single player on this roster is a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. They started a lineup in their last game, I believe, had one player shooting like more than 3 threes a game or something like that. It was what was the lineup? It was Westbrook. I think Achiuwa might have been in there at the 4. Reyno was the 5.
Beast. Hey,
Yeah.
this is, and guys, he's a sicko. This is a man who watches
The
basketball
Kings.
all day, every day, and he got 3 players into a Sacramento
Oh,
Kings
Keegan Murray.
lineup.
Keegan Murray was in there.
Yeah.
Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray.
he's
I think he
back.
returned. It was his return game, so he was in the starting lineup.
Okay, beast
I
mode.
don't
And so
remember who
we're
the
missing
fifth
one.
starter was.
Comments,
Yeah.
comment. Let us know in the comments down below which, I mean, legendary Kings starter is eclipsing in our mind right now. I have the same team. I mean, we will, like every other team. You know, there's angles to talk about, like, oh, what do the tanking rules mean for this team? How good is this team going to be if they try to win games versus if they like sit their best players or whatever? The Kings, there's no other path forward. It's just like genuine. This is an awful, awful basketball team that lost. I mean, Sabonis is the only guy I rate as somebody who like seriously would have fucked up the tank if he was playing like every game for the rest of the year. He's good enough to like, you know, have you in like close-ish games or whatever. But Levine, I would have been fine with if he was playing. And DeAndre Hunter eye surgery is pretty crazy too. But I don't think he would have messed up the tank either. It's just a bad team. Pablo, do you have any thoughts?
Well, yesterday I went over the worst futures with Spawn Hour, and these guys unsurprisingly came up. And just so you guys know, Keegan Murray's extension has not started yet, so he will be making.
What is that? What is that at?
I believe close to 30, maybe like 28 or something a year for 5 years. So
Okay,
we'll see. But maybe the future core of Keegan Murray, Nick Clifford, Devin Carter, Dylan Cardwell, and Maxime Reynaud. And whoever they add this year will
Darren Peterson.
flip the freaking script. Yes, healthy Darren Peterson.
Healthy Darren. Yeah, no, it would be straight up so Kings to be like first overall Darren Peterson. He's like, I don't even like basketball.
They cannot.
All the rumors
take
are
him.
true.
They can't take him no matter, even if he says like it was all fake and I'm just doing it for the money. I will come play for the Kings. I will do my also use Supermax me. They can't risk it.
They've lost 15 games in a row, man.
And I don't even know that. Like, they don't even register as like a team to me anymore. It's so
they're just
fucking
0-4
crazy.
every time we do this. they're at the bottom.
Yeah. Rest in peace to them. I guess. I mean, the only thing I'll say is that I was looking at it yesterday. It's wild that they have all their picks still. So, like, as far as the future goes or anything, which, again, that's not what this is about. It could be worse. Like, it just sucks right now. They're terrible right now. But, like, you know, it's not like they're one of these teams that, you know, until 2030, they don't control their own pick or anything. Do we have any requests for these idiots, Pablo?
Let's see. I hope not. No. All right, let's put these bad boys in alphabetical order. Now we'll scroll down to. No, we don't have any.
We don't have any. Great. Moving on. Okay. Tyler, we'll keep it with you. Who's your second bottom?
I think it's just the injuries. It's got to be Utah for me. With the injuries they have, they're probably the worst defensive team in the league.
Okay.
Because who are their main rotation players right now? When you don't have Jaren Jackson and you don't have Walker Kessler, you're relying on your first line of defense. In most cases, is going to be some collection of Keontae George, Bryce Sensabaugh, Isaiah Collier.
Chill.
Three.
Two nightmarish defenders. Two awful
two
defenders.
horrible defenders, and one guy who hasn't been coached. So.
one guy who's misunderstood.
Yes.
We'll say.
Back line
but then
of like Nurkic.
and Nurkic has actually been like, I think he's been solid defensively, but then it's like, if it's not Nurkic, it's Kyle Filipowski. Lowry's cool. Lowry's cool. I don't think he's a terrible defender. Ace Bailey's got some flashes, but you traded away Taylor Hendricks, who was kind of one of the only pieces keeping that defense together when he's on the court. Jaren Jackson Jr. was their best rim protector when it wasn't Walker Kessler. So I just think this is a team that is going to have to put up a lot of points to win games. And not only do they not want to do that, like not only are they actively trying to lose games, their offensive floor isn't as high as some of the other teams that I think are in that lower end of the spectrum.
Yes, I agree.
How did you feel about Taylor Hendricks this year?
I didn't watch too much of him this year, but I've always been high on his just defensive versatility, like his ability to kind of be everywhere. I did actually watch his first, I think it was 2 games with the Grizzlies, and I was pretty impressed. Just kind of like one of those Swiss Army knife type of players where it's like, do we need you at the point of attack? Do we need you on the back line? You can rebound. You can make plays with your hands, make plays at the rim. It's the offense that's like, I haven't really seen anything that suggests you can actually play in a playoff series. And that's kind of where I need to see growth.
Yeah, I loved him as a prospect, but he's just been so injured the whole time. So it's sad that him and Bryce got separated, because I don't know if you probably don't know this, but they were actually really good friends. And when Taylor Hendricks got injured the first time, Bryce was the first one to visit him in the hospital, because Bryce tore his ACL himself in high school, and he hated the isolation of it. So he didn't want Taylor Hendricks to go through that. And so scale that leadership factor. Make sure you put that
Where's
in video.
Keontae George when all that happened? You know?
What
Did you see Keontae in that podcast? He doesn't like his teammates. He's a mean guy.
Oh wow! What's the backstory behind you guys just like loving Bryce Sensabaugh? Is there an origin?
It comes from me, and it comes from, well, I just thought he was the greatest mid-range shooting prospect in the history of basketball, and then
you weren't wrong.
he's a freaking beast. And then I would have liked to see him get a fair shot by now, but as he's been denied opportunity for Keontae George, for Jordan Clarkson, for all these guys, I have been driven to madness. And so I'm waiting for the day that Bryce Sensabaugh is freed from the Utah Jazz, and then we get to see his full potential, which is the greatest mid-range shooting prospect in the history of basketball, an elite three-point shooting prospect who has been up and down from three this year. He's a boomer bust three-point shooter, but that's a coaching problem, because they say, hey, Bryce, you dropped 28 this game. Let's stand in the corner next game, play 7 minutes, and that's it. And so I don't know if you know this, Tyler, but go to EPM. Bryce may be like a first or second or third percentile defender. He's not the worst on the team, because Keontae George, 0th percentile defender.
I did see that. I think it was maybe NBA University or Data Ball or one of those posted like the bottom 10 defenders by Darko. I think it was.
Yeah.
Or it might have been EPM. And I believe Keontae and Collier were like first and third worst in the league.
And I bet Bryce shares all his minutes with them, and so that's why his number is low.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of
the culprit.
noise.
They suck. I don't care about the Jazz. Do we have any requests for these idiots?
One more original idea from me. Tyler, how do you feel about the plan going forward? A potentially healthy Utah Jazz with presumably Markkanen at the 3, Jaren Jackson at the 4.
The
Kessler
biggest team
at
of
the
all
5.
time, but they average out to normal because Keontae George is small.
Ace Bailey at the 2, and then Keontae at the 1. I don't know. They're calling it the biggest and worst passing team ever. What do you think about their forecast?
I'm always a huge fan of teams trying new things and not just following a script. And Utah is doing something that we've never seen in NBA history, so I'm just super excited to see how it pans out. On one hand, I agree, like the passing, the playmaking, the decision making from that front court especially can be really problematic. But also the way Will Hardy runs that offense and the way they kind of operate, I almost don't know how much it matters unless you're like in the Western Conference Finals and you're facing OKC and they force you out of that mold. What's super intriguing to me is that in recent years, we've kind of seen in the playoffs, especially that like the defense by committee thing works really well. I think Denver's obviously the gold standard of that, where it's like, we don't have great point of attack defenders. We don't have great rim protectors, but if we can just shell up and plug the gaps, we can prevent teams from getting to those high efficiency spots. And we can at least like maintain some level of defensive infrastructure and then outscore teams in the other end. I like how Utah is kind of building off of that by saying, hey, we're actually going to start a lineup with no point of attack defenders, but we're going to go for this defense by committee thing, except our guys are all huge athletic and can give you 3 blocks a game. So it's like, yeah, if you get around Keontae George, my second line of defense is Ace Bailey stunting at the nail, or it's Jaren Jackson Jr. coming over, or it's Walker Kessler at the rim.
Or it's Cody Williams helping, yeah.
There you go. No, but I think it's fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think they should have a good enough floor. At least, like, I think this team is built to just be a regular season juggernaut. Like, I could see this current mold of the roster being one of those teams where it's like, yeah, we won 50 games, but once a team figures out our offensive approach in the playoffs, how do we then counter? They to me are a team that's like, they're not maybe built for May, but up until April, they can go blow for blow with anybody.
Yeah. I do wonder how that'll affect the perception of everything. Because, like, you get 1 year where you're fun before anybody cares, really. Like, the Grizzlies got a fun year. The Thunder, before everyone started to hate them, had a fun year. The Kings, the Beam, like, I think next year could be fun for the Jazz. And then it's like, once the expectations settle in, it's like, okay, this is our team. We're trying to win. I'm nervous, yeah, like you said, for May or whatever. But I'm also not the biggest Keontae George guy in the world. This is not a huge Keontae George podcast, and I think that's like the hinge that a lot of this is relying on. Is like, if he's great, if he's an all-star level guard, then the whole setup makes a lot more sense than if like he just turns out to be, less than that.
Well, and my kind of initial reaction to everything, because Keontae, to me, is clearly just like an all-star caliber scorer, at least in the regular season, just like the way he can pick apart different defenses, his shot making, his functional athleticism. But I don't know if he's an all-star level creator. And that's where it gets weird, because like this is a team that's built to need a ton of creation from that spot.
Yes.
So my initial reaction was like, imagine this exact Jazz build, but like if it was Luka at the helm, how would we be talking about the Jazz, right? Where it's like, you have all of these off-ball weapons. Trey was available. I mean, this would be the team. This would be the build that I'd expect if it was like, we're going all in on Trey Young ball. So I guess that's how they view Keontae George, right? Like as an all NBA type of guard. So we'll just have to see.
I guess we'll see. Do we have any requests for Pablo?
We've got one from Scoombus, longtime caller, first-time listener. How much longer is this rebuild? We have so many young guys, but none of them feel like the guy, except for Bryce, obviously. Realistically, how many pieces away do you think this team needs to be competitive again? Thank you for the Galaxy, for Scoombus. Well, just not from Tyler. It sounds like Tyler thinks next year. Is next year?
I think they can be competitive. Obviously not like contending for a championship, but I think right now, if they had their full roster in place, they'd be at least a play-in team to me.
Yeah. I think the rebuild is done. Like, I can say that. Like, we're not, this is the last tank year. And, like, if they end up sucking again, I think it'll probably be because of, like, some combination of injuries or stuff like that. I don't think it'll be because they're trying to build through the draft anymore. I think from their perspective, they are done rebuilding, trying to win.
Let me throw you a curveball. So I had a friend of mine ask me yesterday about, like, Kawhi Leonard trade targets. Oh. And it was they were talking about like if Kawhi gets traded, what would make sense? Like, or do you expect Kawhi to get traded? And I was kind of like, well, the Clippers pretty much already blew up the last iteration of the roster, so it could be the type of thing where Kawhi gets moved for a big contract, young player. Like names that came to mind. A lot of people have been talking about Orlando, like one of Franz or Paolo getting moved for Kawhi, things like that. Mm-hmm. What if Utah gets like the #1 pick? And then they're like, "What Clippers? We'll give you Keontae as like a young building block, and then we want Kawhi." So then they go into next season, and it's like Darren Peterson, Kawhi Leonard, Jaren Jackson Jr., Lowry Markkanen, and Walker Kessler.
That would be. I mean,
but also no. Why would no? It's tough though because Kawhi's not re-signing in Utah.
Yeah, and
so
I
you
think
get 1 year.
I think you get 1 year. I don't even know if you get 1 year because I think he'd be like, my knee hurt.
My knee hurts. I'm so tired. Right? I actually cheated again. They paid me. They're still doing the tree stuff. And additionally, it'd be crazy. I guess you're just taking value if you're the Clippers at this point. And Keontae for Kawhi, like that's not terrible value by any means, but like the Garland Keontae, that would be like a crazy team approach. It's just like, yeah, whatever. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Garland, Keontae, Ben Mathurin.
Hey.
Oh shoot! Nice.
You guys know he's a guaranteed paint touch every fuck. We'll get to it. Okay. Next team, I have New Orleans ahead of them. Not to just keep throwing it to Tyler every time. Who do you have third? And we can talk about whichever you want.
I have Dallas for now. With Kyrie being out for the season and them not really having any sort of offensive direction, it's kind of just like, Cooper Flagg, go out and show us something.
Okay.
That's kind of the way I view Dallas. And it's like Cooper Flagg, his ascension has been amazing. They're definitely one of my more fun teams to watch.
Looks Max Lingo ascension, and he's got a very straight clavicle.
in terms of just the competitive type of basketball they can field on the court right now, I just don't think it's there. They've lost 10 games in a row. Just not a great basketball team right now.
Yeah, it is Cooper Ball. I don't know. I guess I'm like higher on Cooper Ball than that, but I mean, it is hard to argue with like where it's led them so far, where it's like they do stink right now, and maybe I'm relying on like more like of all the teams that still stink right now, I think Dallas will do the least to like nerf him and his development and winning games down this stretch, even though they still want like a super high pick. I just think like they probably won't have to intervene that much because they'll probably lose the fucking games anyway now that I'm talking through it. But yeah, I'm just like, I hate the Pelicans. They've made me like what made me sad about the Pelicans writing through this was Zion 31 straight games and they've still been so bad. And it's like, okay, well, it's like you can point to him never playing and you could be terrible, but then if you get like this huge like otherworldly health run from him and you're still like 7 or 8 games below 500, I just hate that. But then also they have no reason to be bad, so I am fine with the Dallas pick here now that I'm working my way through it.
The one thing that bothers me about Dallas is I feel like I don't know if this is an approach thing or if I'm just mischaracterizing their roster. But I thought going into the season, one of the huge advantages they would have over any team is you can overwhelm teams with your size and win on the offensive glass. And they just don't grab any offensive rebounds. They're like the worst offensive rebounding team in the league. It makes no sense to me. When you have guys like, and obviously they've been injured, but when you have this giant front court and you have you're playing Cooper Ball, you're not spacing the floor, get on the offensive glass at least.
Yeah,
like I feel like there's no reason you don't have Steven Adams, but like why they can't at least try to do what Houston does.
Is Lively healthy right now? I swear, he got shut down for this? Like I swear he had the foot thing, and so what is their front court? Because like Gafford is undersized.
They literally just got someone who had 7 offensive rebounds in his last game.
Stick?
Yeah. He's a man with pogo stick legs. So
the
Marvin Bagley
in the AD trade.
How do you feel about Marvin Bagley these days, Tyler? There's been a lot of Marvin Bagley optimism circling.
I like him. Yeah, I think he's a pretty good. I just think he's a perfectly fine player. I don't think he's a top 3 pick, but no, he's a solid rotation caliber center. I think he's a solid player, and I think he's been pretty solid for a few years now. It's kind of just been on the type of thing where he's on these bottom feeding teams getting garbage minutes, so you don't really realize. It's the type of thing where like when Daniel Gafford was in Washington, nobody cared, but then he goes to Dallas and has a finals run and everyone's like, wow, Daniel Gafford's a really good center. I don't think Bagley's as good as Gafford, but I do think Bagley's a solid player.
Is he a guy you think could make an impact in a playoff series potentially when these guys are competitive again?
As a backup, I think he could.
Because he has gotten better defensively, but I still feel like there'd be some concerns.
It's the type of thing where it's like, yeah, it'd have to be spot minutes and very specific, like against very specific units so that he's not exploited. But like in terms of just adding replacement level value off of a playoff bench, I think that's feasible.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be like centerpiece of like defensively slanted lineups, but he has like gimmicky skills where it's like with all of the value that like offensive rebounding has been, focused on over the past several years. He is really good at stuff like that. You always feel his presence on the boards and on like putbacks and shit. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think he'll be good. I do know he's been doing like, I think they'll have to re-sign him. And so he might be like free agent at the end of the year. I don't know if he'll stay in Dallas or go somewhere else, but yeah, I definitely think like back off the bench for a playoff team, he could do something.
Hey, 2-year RAPM, Marvin Bagley +1 impact.
That's what we should do for this whole fucking pod, honestly. I don't want to hear any other. Yeah, run down the list, pal.
Let's pull up Data Baller. Let's just go down the RAPMs, go down the Darkos, and we will determine who the best team in the West is.
Yikes. Io DeSunmu. Wolves, looks like this season might be over. I'm a little bit worried. Do we have any requests for the Dallas Mavericks, Mr. Escobar?
Let's check it out. God, why does it go out of alphabetical order every time?
I don't know. Actually, I'll be right back. Keep going. Don't let anything interrupt.
All right. I'm sorting A to Z, and then I am scrolling. Okay, we have 2. So this first one is from Garrett Maxwell. He says, "Hi, Chud and Chungus. Should the Mavericks bring back the original Mavs Man mascot in an attempt to scare the conservative beliefs out of Cooper Flagg?" Wait, do we know that Cooper Flagg has conservative beliefs?
What is going on in this question?
Well, so the first part was just an introduction, but and I didn't know they replaced what's his name, Mavericks Man.
It's the horse. The horse is their mascot, right?
Right now, it's a horse. They pivoted from horse to man. Let's see.
What is?
Oh yeah, okay. So it used to be. Oh, it used to be this guy who looks like a basketball.
Yeah. And now it's Champ.
Yeah.
Are we talking Mavericks, man?
Yeah.
We are talking Mavericks.
Yeah, Garrett Maxwell asked, should they bring original Mavs Man back in an attempt to scare the conservative beliefs out of Cooper Flagg? Do we know Cooper Flagg is conservative?
I don't think so. There's less proof for that than there's for Khan.
Yeah.
I also don't know how that scares I think that just scares him generally. I don't think there's like a liberal slant to Mavericks Man where he's like pro-choice and then he melts into a basketball or something.
I think
here's the question is like, how are we sure that Mavs Man isn't conservative?
That's what I'm saying.
Looking at him, we cannot be sure. He's got like the
like, what if Cooper Flagg's like, this guy's awesome, I want to be more like him.
I need a new mentor.
He's deeply pro-police, Mr. Mavericks Man. He just oozes that kind of vibe. So yeah.
So let's stick with the horse. Let's stick with the horse and just push our luck. And then we've got Josh Lerman. What do you think the starting lineup will be for the 2028 Olympics? And do you think Cooper will start?
That's
how many years away is 2028?
2. Yeah, 2. You get really. Wait, so you have this summer, next summer, and then it is that third summer. So yeah, like you have 2 years until the Olympics. I don't know if he'll start. I feel like the wing position in America is pretty solid. I think
talking about like its education, the wing position in America.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't care about like education. I care about can you fucking go both ways, dude. He'll probably be fighting with like Scotty Barnes and a few other people.
Oh, true. I forget he's American because he's up there.
Yeah.
Tyler, how high are you on Cooper in general? Do you think he has like legit top 5 potential?
100%. Yeah, I'm all the way in on the Cooper Flagg hype. I think he's a bona fide superstar. How quick does that actualize though? Because by the time of the 2028 Olympics, Cooper Flagg will be 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be the type of thing where it's like, okay, this is his he's like dipping his feet in the Olympic water. And then 2032, it's his team type thing.
I really think he could be there.
Oh, it definitely could be. Yeah,
because
100%.
Defensively, like he's so far ahead of like where people should be at his age. And then I just look. Well, who do we think? Like, so LeBron is dead by then. Kawhi's dead by then.
Are we sure?
I guess we can never be sure with LeBron. Is KD dead?
Because I feel like Kevin Durant is like, he epitomizes USA basketball, and he'll only be, 39?
And he literally has nothing better to do.
Yeah,
we know
he's
that
got
much.
nothing going on.
KD's there. I feel like we could chalk KD in, man.
When we did the discourse at the end of the Olympics, where everybody panicked, I remember the older guy at that point would have been, I think Booker will be like 32. And he'll probably still be going. But yeah, I don't think LeBron will do it. I don't think Steph will do it. But I mean, KD and Booker, I guess. Yeah.
Tatum, will he have bad blood and say, "I'm not freaking doing this," like Jaylen Brown?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Ant.
So easy.
Ant.
Yeah, Ant will definitely be
Yeah.
there.
I feel like Cade and Ant should be the backcourt.
I agree.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, who would you?
Yeah.
I mean, Brunson at like again. He'll
Yeah,
be
it
like
won't be
32.
For me, it'd be between Cade and Halliburton.
Ooh, that's
Oh,
tough. We'll have to
yeah.
see. We'll have to see how Halliburton comes back and everything. But again, like we're talking through these names, I feel like none of these conflict with like Cooper that hard, especially if he's like a 4.
Well, it would be the
full-time.
type of thing where Cooper Flag getting in probably means they don't start a 5, and they just go for like the all switchable angle. Because who would be the 5 besides Bam or Jalen Duren? Would that be your big man rotation?
It might be. That's kind of tough. Damn.
What happened to the American big man? We've fallen off. Walker Kessler. I don't know. Yeah, I think he could be definitely deserving of being in the starting lineup at that point, but there could be some seniority issues where they're
It
like,
might be politics, dude.
yeah,
What about,
because who's going to be the coach?
Evan Mobley? Evan Mobley could be the
Could
5.
be.
He could
Mobley.
do it. Yeah, that would make sense. That'd make more sense.
Oh,
than,
Chet.
Yeah,
yeah.
that too. Yeah. Okay. We're tweaking.
Well, what's
on
weird about the USA
American
thing is I feel like
bigs.
there's a lot of these players who are like knocking on the door of we can get to maybe an All NBA level, but you don't have that like none of them really separate themselves besides from a team fit construct where it's like in certain lineups this guy makes more sense than this guy, or depending on who's coaching and what system they want to run, this guy makes more sense than this guy. That's what's tough.
And is it Spoelstra? Is that guaranteed?
I think Kerr passed the torch at the end of the Olympics last year.
Yeah.
Like I think he was done with it, and it was going to be.
It is
moving
Spoelstra,
forward.
which means Bam is the center.
Oh,
Okay,
true.
Nice.
Dude, will he? Does he have the guts to bench Tatum again? I don't know. Or will he be like, no, we got to give.
Well,
him
will he need to bench Tatum again if there's no LeBron, Kevin Durant, super dream squad?
Tatum might have been benched for friggin' Bryce Sensabaugh, but based on how he was shooting last time.
People talk about Tatum like it was like this a persecuted, like he just, it was unfair, and it's like every time he shot he missed. That's kind of tough to play. Yeah, I don't know about Cooper though. I truly don't. Any other requests?
Nope. Just those.
Okay. Fuck, I lost my timestamps. Well, I didn't
Bruh.
lose them. The app restarted. 40, let's call it 42. We are at...
This timestamp was brought to you by... So companies, keep that in mind. We could be saying your names every time.
Yes. This
a
could literally
timestamp.
freaking be you.
Brought to you by the U.S. Postal Service. Make sure
I
you
used
get that
them
stamp.
yesterday. I did. I sent a package.
Whoa, okay.
Let's talk Pelicans. Let's talk Pelicans here, I guess.
When he said let's talk, I was like packages, but no.
Let's talk
it was just
packages.
Pelicans.
Pelicans. Tyler, what do you think about them?
I don't know what to think about them because I do think at full strength they should be a good team, but there's a clear... Well, you don't want to be at full strength because you want to get these developmental reps for Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. But there's also a clear... Zion and Derek Queen do not...
It's awful.
It does not work at all. It's just an atrocity of a fit. I pulled up some funny lineup numbers. So when Zion and Trey Murphy are on the court without Derek Queen this season, they have a +4 net rating. I feel like that's pretty standard with what we'd expect from the Pelicans. Like they're a decent team. Zion and Trey Murphy, that duo is awesome. Like they play off of each other super well. When you throw Derek Queen into the mix, that becomes a -9. And when Derek Queen and Zion are on the court without Trey Murphy, it's only 136 minutes, but they're a -20 net rating when it's just Zion and Derek Queen without Trey Murphy. So needless to say,
what's Derek Queen with Trey?
Derek Queen with Trey, no Zion, is -5.
Oh,
okay. And then Trey Murphy by himself, -8. Derek Queen by himself, -3. Basically, the only lineup that works is Zion and Trey.
And also Herb is plus
players.
with
That's
everyone
crazy.
somehow, right? I think Herb is like a plus-minus savant somehow.
Herb's pretty good. When it's Herb's pretty good.
How many minutes
weird.
has Herb played this year? It can't be
Herb
like
hasn't
that
played many minutes, so you can't really get a good sample of the lineup stuff. But I do know generally his style of play meshes well with Zion and Trey. We've seen that for few years now, but also he is a plus-minus darling, like Pablo said, because he just does all those little things where it's like maybe you don't notice it. But he's driving winning essentially.
Bruh, 29%.
That's what's weird about the Pelicans, because it's like I feel like
Jones jumper.
If the Pelicans were trying to win, and we're like, let's play Derek Queen only when Zion's not on the court, and things like that, then I feel like they'd be closer to the play-in. But because it doesn't make sense for them to try and win, they are. Well, it does make sense.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
They don't have their pick.
But what I mean
it's
is,
the most
what I mean
confusing team in the world.
It makes more sense for them to prioritize the development of Fears, Queen, and their young core, as opposed to, man, it's weird because, like you said, they don't have their pick, so they do want to win, but they also don't want to win because they want to play their worst players because you want them to develop. Yeah. I do think long term, like I do think Jeremiah Fears has some stuff. He has some juice to him. Derek Queen, I think, is a really interesting player. But it's like, okay, choose Zion or Derek Queen, because even an actualized version of Queen is not going to fit with Zion. It's a play style issue.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, it is confusing because it's just like. It's also, I don't know, it's almost like beyond pick bias, where it's like if you go first overall, there's like a lot of pressure to like feed this guy possessions and everything and like see what he could do, develop him, whatever. With Derek Queen, it's like it's worse than going first overall because it's like we punted next year to move up and get you. We have to figure out what's going on right now. And so, yeah, they are both terrible right now. Who knows what's gonna happen over the next few years. I just don't. Yeah, I guess like the whole point isn't to talk about like the hypotheticals of like what is gonna happen with them. They're bad right now, and they deserve to be here. Even below, I guess. Do you have them above or below Memphis?
I have them above Memphis.
Okay.
But I do think Memphis is another one of those teams where at full strength, I love Memphis. Like I love their roster. I think Zach Edey's awesome. I think he looked like a legit all-star in the 11 games this season. It was monumental defensive impact while being like very competent offensively. Cedric Howard, I really like his game. They brought in all those young guys from Utah. I think what's super awesome about Memphis is you essentially sold your dying remains of your attempted contender roster for like 10 first-round picks and a bunch of young players. And they still have enough talent on their team right now to be good if they wanted to. Like Ty Jerome's amazing. Ty Jerome's so good. Just one of the most efficient offensive players on the planet. Ja Morant probably still is a good player. I just don't really know what to do with Ja Morant.
Somewhere, dude. Come on.
Like,
he's in there.
Somewhere in there, he probably is still a good player. Yeah, I think Memphis, I love their rebuild. I just don't think they have the pieces right now, like especially in the front court, to be competitive as is. Unless Zach Edey comes back, which is he out for the season confirmed?
I don't remember. I don't think it was ever. It might have been. I remember whatever report we got with Edey was very scary. It used the word like stress reaction and stuff. And so for a guy that big, it was like, okay, this team's not doing shit anyways. Let's shut him down. So regardless of whether or not it's confirmed, I think he's probably done.
I think the Ty Jerome and Edey pick and roll is going to be unstoppable. I cannot wait.
Ty Jerome's been so sick. That's. I mean, really, like we're not talking about the Cavs today, but like very underrated part of why they've been so underwhelming for a lot of this year is just like him off the bench was so.
To your
for
point
them.
About just reading stats and getting this over with, estimated plus minus EPM. Number 1, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Number 2, Jokic. Number 3, Ty Jerome. By the way, right now. Then number 4, Giannis. You heard it here first. Ty Jerome is adding more to the Grizzlies than Giannis is adding to the Bucks. I mean, this is the type of player we're talking about.
Trade them for each other.
It's equal. But before we leave the Pelicans, Yves Missi, where are you at with him, Tyler? I think he's interesting, but they seem to have been out on him immediately. They were like, yeah, we'll trade this freaking guy. We don't care.
I don't know what to do with Yves Missi because I think it's kind of what we talked about with the Bagley thing, where it feels like to me, this is even a more extreme example. Bagley, I think, has other stuff to him where it's like he really understands screening angles. He's got some passing juice to him, pretty good touch. I think Yves Missi is strictly like all of his value is offensive rebounding. And that's literally it right now. And then like he'll occasionally dunk on somebody and it's cool for highlight value. I don't know what to do with that because I think Yves Missi has the tools to be a good defensive player, but like just clearly isn't that yet. Hasn't figured out how to use his body or I still think he needs to add some strength. But also I don't know what's tough is it's really hard to project a poor defensive big who has tools because you don't know what they're going to look like on a good defensive team. And you don't know how the brain works, right? Like I remember people were out on Jalen Duren as a defender in year 1 and 2. They were like, he could never be a good defender because he does not process the game. Now he's awesome. So it's like
people were out on Kada.
Yeah, same thing. And it's like you don't really.
And don't they feel stupid now?
You don't.
Where's he in EPM? Pull it up.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
the metrics love.
He's up there. And they hated him in the past. Wait, who?
Hugo Gonzalez. I think he's.
Oh yeah, he's the poster boy.
He's crazy. Yeah,
he's a hooper. But it's tough. I think Yves Missi right now just has a lot of raw tools, and the question is, can he actualize them in any way that isn't just grabbing an offensive rebound?
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't surprise me. I guess like Pablo, you are right. Where the reports are like, bag of chips for this guy, please, anything. It was a little surprising the way he was talked about. They're ready to trade him, but like, I don't know. It's very tough to like. Derek Queen has to be the 5, and at that point, Yves Missi, like I don't know how much developmental time they're going to have for him moving forward if you're focusing so much on getting Derek Queen as good as possible.
Ideally, you need a defensive center behind Queen, no matter what.
Well, can you run him at the 4 is my question, if he can't shoot and he can't guard in space.
Queen? I feel like you kind of have to. Like, I mean, I'm kind of out on. I think it's very, even with his flashes, it's very hard to see.
It's the new small guards.
I mean, it's always been there. It's always been boom or bust with him, where it's like, just can this guy ever have a pulse defensively? Like, is he going to be able to do anything? And he does have some of the stuff that Şengün had going for him before he was a positive defender, as far as like strength and good hands and stuff like that. But it's hard to see. He's going to have to be a really, really, really incredible offensive player.
Smaller than Şengün. I don't know exactly like what the measurements are on everybody, but like at this point, it does feel like he's less physically imposing on the game, which Şengün's been weight training in the NBA for a lot longer, so that's probably part of it. But yeah,
we'll see these barefoot heights.
One thing I will say that intrigues me with Queen is that he seems to have decent like second jump ability, like quick off the floor. He doesn't get high, but he's pretty quick off the floor.
That's what Jokic has. That's what what's it called? What's the Santa Barbara P3? They said Jokic gets off the floor very quickly.
So I do think that's one point in favor of Queen. I don't think he has super long arms, like maybe like a 7-foot wingspan.
Yeah, that's it
limiting
too.
when you're not a vertical athlete. You don't move too well in space, but I think there is a pathway to him becoming just decent. Again, it's about how the mind processes the NBA level game. It's impossible to really project, but I do think we've gotten to a point where with prospects, especially, teams value feel over like raw tools now. Where it's like, if you have the feel, I do think Derek Queen is a very high feel player. So it's almost like, let's bet on that. Same with Şengün. Şengün looked like a lost cause defensively, but he was a high feel player. And now at this point, I'd say he's a pretty decent defender, even if he does still get targeted for some of those limitations. You know what's funny? I pulled up, while we were talking about this, I pulled up another number. It was the Pelicans net rating with Zion, Trey Murphy, and Missi, no Queen, plus 11.5 net rating.
Whoa.
God damn.
Okay.
That's crazy to me too, where it's like, I don't know. I don't remember what the first half of their season looked like health wise, and maybe that's why they were running some of the lineups that they were. But like, did we have to be bad the whole time? Like we couldn't wait till like January to start focusing on the developmental stuff? I don't know, because now it's like locked lottery pick for the Hawks, and it seems like it didn't have to be that way, but it is what it is. They're bad. Do we have any requests for New Orleans, Pablo?
One last thing about the Pelicans now. Or not Eve Messi. Sadiq Bey. Can he help a real team once his Pelicans 10 years over, or is this just point farming?
I think he's solid. I think he's got a lot going for him. I don't think what's weird is that teams very specifically with role players target two-way, and I don't think Bey has the defensive juice. But in terms of like we need a scorer off the bench, he's definitely a pretty dynamic scorer for being a role player. He can put it on the deck. He can get to a bunch of different pressure points. I think he's a pretty decent player. It's just like you have to have a team that needs that and already has the defensive infrastructure to put out a role player who's not going to add to that.
Yeah.
All right. No lobbyists for the...
No lobbyists. Get them the fuck out of my face. Tyler, which team do you want to talk about next?
We've talked about all of the tanking teams, I believe.
Yes.
So now we get to
Pablo, do you have any... Do you have any Memphis thoughts? I feel like we didn't get a ton from you with the Grizzlies. Do you have anything you want to say? I mean, they're not that crazy of a team.
Yeah, they're not. Let me see if there's anyone I want to ask about on this. I like their strategy of realizing, hey, it's not going to happen. So we're not going to wait till these guys are 30. We're just going to friggin' blow this up now.
That was based.
What do you think about Cedric Howard defensively?
I like the energy. I like the activity. I like the motor. I don't really know if I've seen too much of Coward that's additive, meaning I see a real pathway where this turns into something that adds a ton of value, like not particularly high-level screen navigation or versatility. There's not one thing I look at with Coward defensively where I'm like, this is something that's going to turn into like a staple of his game. Maybe that's a bit of a cop-out, but I think usually with like a young prospect that's going to pan out to be a really good defender, you look at something and it's like, man, this guy's hands, or man, this guy's feet, his lateral quickness. For Coward, to me, it just seems like energy motor, almost like a Josh Hart type of thing, where it's like he's going to add value defensively by just being like the highest effort guy on the court. But
with his tools, how high does that scale? Because he's got freaking arms and he's got freaking hands.
What if Josh Hart had a 7-foot wingspan and he wasn't 6'4", dude? But he's the worst rebounder also. Shit.
Not. I wouldn't say quite all defense, but maybe a touch or two below that. Where it's like he's clearly adding value, but not to the point where it's like we can build a defense around this guy.
Yeah. At the beginning of the year, I really liked his rim protection. I felt like he was fearless getting in front of guys, and he's so long that when he gets vertical, it's like a legit obstacle in front of you. But I believe his playmaking stats have not over the course of the year.
Well, and that's one thing too. Like, it's hard to be a really additive defender when you aren't like forcing any turnovers or and for as active as he is, that's what concerns me, because I feel like usually when players have like low deflection numbers and steal numbers and things like that, it's because they aren't active. But Coward is active and still has low, so like maybe it's an anticipation thing, maybe it's like he's not reading defense as well or offense as well type of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, Pablo, when Coward was a prospect, did you expect him to be this competent offensively right away, or has that been like a surprise?
Well, he was. I think I thought, hey, this dude has shot like 40% everywhere he's been. His issue was before the NBA, he didn't play a lot of games against high level competition. Like when he moved up a level, he barely played. I thought, hey, he's old and he should be able to shoot threes. I think he'll be fine. I think other people like Ben Pfeiffer, I think, was like, this guy's going to be a project. So I think people might have been split on that offensively. I was just counting on threes and I wasn't counting on a whole lot. So I'm not super duper surprised there.
What's kind of interesting to me about Coward is he gets to the rim, gets to the free throw line a decent amount, makes his free throws. Like you said, he can shoot the three ball. He's efficient at the rim too. He makes 70% of his shots at the rim. Pretty good passer, can handle the ball, really good in transition. Does basically everything. It's crazy how in any other year we'd be like, yeah, this is a rookie of the year home run. This is everything you want to see. And it just happens to be like the greatest rookie of the year race of all time. So his name hasn't even been brought up a single time, even though he's a rare case of a rookie who's a clear positive player already.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a project. Like he's a legitimately good NBA player already.
Yeah, I would say especially within the framework of they got 10 first to blow it up and everything. It's like, you could definitely see the path for Memphis where Cedric Howard is helping them win games in the future.
Yeah,
and I don't think he needs to be a guy for them where it's like the defense or the offense is like structured around him. He can help. He can help right now, and I definitely think he'll be able to help once there's, even just like you said, Ty Jerome and Edey on the floor together with Cedric Howard also being there. I feel like that's the framework for an okay team. Like it shouldn't be terrible.
Well, it's like the whole Cedric Howard. It's like, Cedric Howard, we need you to go out there in transition. That's your game. Like, let's get us some fast break offense. Do your thing defensively. Have high energy. Have motor. And do your best to support the second installment of Kobe and Shaq in Ty Jerome and Zach Edey.
Yeah.
You know the Grizzlies this season, in the 11 games Zach Edey played, they were like a plus 20 net rating with him on the court.
He's a beast. I've looked
at
that
the best
screenshot
team.
all the
time. They were
time,
better than
dude.
OKC with Zach Edey on the court.
Are you oh wait, no, you couldn't say.
Well, I was just gonna say, with the Rizichet revisionism and the way we've kind of contextualized the entire draft class, really, him and Edey and Klingon, it's just like, damn, should have just taken the fucking big guy. Really, it's what you should have done, and you'd probably be happy.
It's like everyone was like, Edey won't translate. And I similar things happening with Cam Boozer, where there's a lot of doubters where it's like, but there is a world where production, if you're just an outlier at certain things and your production is that good, it's just don't overthink it. Like Zach Edey is going to get to the NBA level and still be bigger and stronger than everyone with really good touch. And it's like everything else can kind of just fall into place. He's obviously an NBA player. I feel like that was always obvious from day one. Actually, I was part of I made one positive Zach Edey tweet during the draft process and got added to a group chat called Demon Edey FC. So I'm a member. I'm a member of this Demon
card
Edey
carrying. That rocks, dude.
Shout out Swish Theory. I think the guy's name is Matt Powers. He has a draft site, and he was steadfast Edey #1. He's like, this is a historically great prospect right before our eyes. I'm still skeptical about like the ceiling in general. Like I do think he's definitely good. But do you think like, are you looking at the numbers and you're like, clearly this is who we're building around, or are you like, this is a guy who could support our future star?
Well, it's tough for me to say like you can build around a player who obviously isn't a creator. It's just a different type of dynamic. It's weird because like I can see him getting to a level where he's the best player on an extremely good team, but maybe not in the way where it's like structured around his game. I think a great example would be like the 2021 Jazz to me. Rudy Gobert was the best player, or at least the most valuable player on that team, but it wasn't really built around him. It was more so like built. It kind of was on offense, but on defense, it was kind of just like Rudy, save us. I think Zach Edey can have that type of impact where it's like, Zach, save us. You're big. Obviously, the game has changed. Like the game's evolving, and that won't work in the playoffs. But it could be the type of thing where Edey's the best player, but on offense, he has a very simple role. I don't think it's the type of thing where it's like the Yao Ming Rockets, where we're going to give Zach Edey 15 post-ups a game and get us to the playoffs.
God.
But
it'd be sick, though, if you could still do that.
Be awesome.
It'd be dope.
It'd be awesome.
That's a pretty good infrastructure. Well, if Hendricks hits, then Edey, Hendricks, Coward, that's pretty freaking epic. We have one for the Memphis Grizzlies from Cunt Warlord. I have successfully coped myself into justifying the Grizzlies taking a small guard in the draft. I think Pablo has over-indexed on the defensive deficiencies and size mismatches while undervaluing the speed mismatches small guards can generate on offense. I think legitimate high-level advantage creation is more valuable than plus positional size without that threat. also, I think pull-up three-point shooting is crucial to their viability. If the Grizzlies could draft Mikal Brown Jr., extremely high free throw rate, great finishing shooting, I would be happy. Hashtag save some small guards. So, Tyler, this is where are you
Mikal
at?
Brown is 6'5". Doesn't count. I just want that on the record.
He's not a real 6'5". He's not. He's a 6'3" barefooter, and he's very thin. Kill that guy. He's a small guard. But I am an extremist. I am out on small guards in their entirety, unless they're power guards who can play defense. And even then, I want them cheap. I want them for a freaking good night, and then I'm freaking kicking them out in the morning. But where are you at on where are you at on small guards in general, Tyler? Are you an extremist? Are you an optimist?
I am somewhere in between where you're at and being like neutral on it. I'm definitely on the lower end of the spectrum because I think in the playoffs it's just very clear the type of deficiencies these guys cause. Obviously, if you're an outlier offensive player, it's different. But even then, you still run into issues like Jalen Brunson was actively hurting the Knicks for a lot of that Pacers series. And Brunson's one of the 10 best offensive players on the planet. So if that's like the best, and I don't even think Brunson's a bottom tier defender. I think Brunson's like close to fine. He has his strength, pretty decent positionally. Obviously you'd like to see him force more turnovers, do more with his hands. Yeah. But yeah, when you get to like the Trae Young type of things where it's like you are a small guy height-wise, and you're the thinnest guy on the court, the other team can get an advantage three seconds into the shot clock by just pulling you into an action. Because either you're going to have to let them get a numbers advantage, or you're going to have to give up a switch, which is an automatic mismatch, and then you probably have to double, and then it's a whole cascading effect. That's the entirety of the Charlotte Hornets offense that's been top 5 for the past 2 months. It's like, we're going to bring Con Knipple up to half court to set a screen, because he probably has the smallest guy on the court guarding him. And then it's like, after that, it's a domino effect. The entire offense falls into place because you targeted the weak link. And so every pretty much contending level team is, the entirety of their playoff rotation is no weak links. It's just at least be able to hold your own. So with these small guards, them just being an automatic mismatch, unless they have just freakishly redeeming defensive qualities like Fred VanVleet, for example.
Yes.
It's tough.
Based, not.
It's tough.
That's like one of the only. I was thinking about it because the Rockets, I mean, we'll talk about them. They've been a tough watch lately, and I'm like, damn, Fred VanVleet is one of the small guards where I'm like, hey, clear positive. Like, I'm happy when he's out there and everything. Hey, yeah, we know. Dude.
Let's get him to be the low man. Are you worried about him then?
And that's the other thing. The way teams are manipulating floor spacing has completely shifted how. Like, during the Trae Young trade cycle, I watched mostly every defensive possession the Hawks played with him on the court this season because it wasn't too many games.
How'd that go?
It was bad. There was one Bulls game specifically right before he got injured, or maybe it was right after he returned for the first time, during their losing streak. And I didn't hand track it, but I kind of was in my head counting, and it was like, he was indirectly involved in giving up like 110 points. And it was like, it's like, it sounds absurd to say, but every single possession the Bulls ran, they did something to target Trae Young, whether it was making him the low man, pulling him into the screen, getting a switch, posting him up, and then drawing the double. And it was like indirectly Trae Young played a role in his team giving up like 110 points. And it's like, what do you do with that? That's the Bulls. Imagine if it's the Indiana
geniuses
in the play, or the New York Knicks, or hell, the Philadelphia 76ers in the playoff. Like, you can't guard like that. So if you're just that much of a defensive negative, that's why Trae Young essentially got salary dumped. And Trae Young's one of the best offensive players in the league.
Shout out to CJ. What a demon, dude. But, yeah. It's crazy when you do stuff like that, where it's like sometimes you start to feel like crazy when it's like you are watching all the clips and you're like, do I count that for a mistake for him too? Because it's just like, damn, you're already at like 50 points given up or something.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, are we still doing shit like this? Yeah, Trey's tough. I mean, I don't know. We're a very extremist pod where it's like, maybe there's a role for you to be a guy who launches threes and never turns the ball over, like Van Vliet or something. But I don't know. If I'm the Grizzlies, I guess there's so many, like, someone's got to take these guards in this draft. There's like a bunch of people at the top.
Tyler, how much have you seen of these guys, of the guys coming up into the draft?
Oh,
and do you think
nothing.
Nothing?
I don't do scouting.
At
so
all. I never look, baby.
I'm clueless. Like, obviously, I'm friends with a lot of draft people, so I see what essentially my draft opinions are what like the draft circles on Twitter say. But specifically, it's careful which draft circles you get into, because I've like seen where they don't
Darius
actually...
Acuff, first overall.
Well, there's that, but then there's the flip side of that where it's like the computer is telling me which prospect is the best. I think there's a fine line. Like, I think actually what's funny is I've never really interacted with Ben Pfeiffer. But when I do have like no idea on a prospect, the first guy I'll look for to see if he made a video on him is Ben. I'm like, did Ben make a video on this guy? Because generally, it's going to be just like raw film. Like, this is what this guy's game is. And so it's like, okay, maybe I'll learn a little bit about this prospect throughout the cycle from watching a Ben video. But specifically hammering home the point of the small guards, everything has a price tag, right? And it's like, if we had Trae Young for $12 million, that's we can find a role for you. If we have Trae Young for $50 million and we then have to build the perfect structure just to have a playoff team, now we have some problems. And I think you have to be careful. You have to be careful.
Yeah. How do you feel about Maxey at that top level price? He's a guy who is better defensively than someone like
I think Maxey's fine at that top level price. Not only do I think there's a lot of offensive dynamism with him because of his off ball game. Like, you can use him as a pure off screen guy and he'll just pick apart defenses. But also I think Maxey might actually be like a neutral-ish type of defender. I don't even think he's really, I think specific
he's a big-time
playoff
playmaker
teams,
for sure.
Right, where it's like, yeah, if you face the Celtics, like, you don't want to get him on Jaylen Brown. Because that's obviously a size problem, but he's got a 6'8" wingspan. He's ridiculously fast. He plays hard. He fights. He's physical. He big time playmaker, like you said, quick hands. So I just think overall in a team construct, he's fine. He's fine to me.
So you'd be into slotting like a Maxey-ish type guy into this Grizzlies infrastructure. And
absolutely.
For just for thinking of this team specifically, what kind of small guards? Like, do they have to be? Let's say they're not off ball as much as Tyrese Maxey. Like, they are a ball dominant, ball handling, like Kingston Fleming's. He's like very explosive, incredibly secure ball handler, decent shooter, really good mid range pull up shooter. I think. I don't know what the numbers are. I think there's some rim percentage concerns, but like, is that type of guy? Would you be into that for this Grizzlies, or would you have to have the off-ball versatility?
The beauty of where the Grizzlies are at right now is that I think it doesn't matter. It's essentially just pick the best player, because there's no rigid roster construction. Like, I think Cedric Coward can pretty much fit with any guard, and I think Zach Edey can pretty much fit with any guard. We know Ty Jerome can fit with any guard. We saw that in the Ty Jerome's an elite off-ball player. And even then, Ty Jerome's probably not part of the long-term outlook. Like, what is he, 28 years old? So he's kind of just like maybe a rental for now, or maybe his game's going to age beautifully. So maybe he is a long-term piece. But yeah, I think the beauty of where the Grizzlies are at right now and the flexibility they've given themselves is that it doesn't have to be like a specific type of guard. It's just whichever prospect we scout and think is the best guard is the one for our future.
Okay. Do we have any other requests? This is too much for the Grizzlies.
That's it for the Grizzlies.
That's enough fucking Grizzlies talk.
I like how it went from Western Conference rankings to who would you draft if you're the Grizzlies?
Well, this is we talked about it already. This is why we get comments. I don't even know what the ranking is. Guys, that's not the point of the video. Jesus. Okay. So I would say that brings to a close the tanking teams. Those 5: Kings, Jazz, Pelicans, Grizzlies, Mavericks. Tanking teams are out of the way. Who do you have as like the worst of the next tier up, Tyler?
So now we're in the low tier normies.
Oh,
Hey,
nice.
okay, nice.
This is where now we're getting to the low tier normies. For me, the 10th team is the Blazers. I think they're a fun team. I think they are the ultimate fool's gold team, and I think they would be a playoff disaster. It's just strictly the fact
anti-Semitic. No, I'm just kidding. Carry on.
Right now, their entire team is like, we're a slightly above average offense and we're a slightly below average defense. Our only offensive, like where we win offensively, is offensive rebounding. And it's like Denny's free throws are obviously like a big driving force behind that offense. They've got decent transition stuff. They haven't been fully healthy. I think they're a lot better with Drew Holiday in the lineup. But
even that's scary. Like 37-year-old is a huge part of your team.
Yeah, that's not ideal. The problem is they don't have a lot of half-court versatility in terms of how they approach offense. Even Denny, in his own game, like his half-court game isn't super versatile. It's pretty much like, I'm going to run into you, figure it out. And it works, but in the playoffs, I don't think that's going to work as well. And they don't have any they're like the worst three-point shooting team in the league. So it's like, if you can't shoot and you have no creation versatility and you're a slightly below average defense, you are going to be a disaster in the playoffs. And it's like, in a play-in environment, even, I think the Clippers would hone in on specific things and probably take them out in the first round of the play-in. If they somehow get past the Clippers, it's like, hey, you've got the Warriors. now you gotta beat the Warriors to make the playoffs. And it's like, yeah, Draymond, I think single-handedly could shut down that offense. So to me, it's like, keep them off the offensive glass, you're good. And to me, they're such a fun team, but they're so limited.
Yeah. For me, it's like they are. I get the fun descriptor, but like with where they're at and how kind of like in they are on this version of the team, I'm not having fun because I'm like, we should probably be better than this right now. If we're like, if we have our 26-year-old all-star and we have we're done tanking for the most part. They're firmly above like the worst teams in the NBA and everything. And I get that they haven't been healthy, but then even some of the guys that have missed time are, I would say, even more out of their window than a Ty Jerome in Memphis, where it's like, how long will Drew Holiday be a part of this team? A couple years? Okay, sure. Is Jeremy Grant here for an extended period of time? I really don't know. And so it's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm with you where I don't think they'd be good in a playoff setting. I would be if it comes down to one game against the Warriors, and I'm a Golden State fan, I would be a little intimidated by Klingen's activity on the boards, just because he is, even when you see him go against like great defensive rebounders, he is like impossible to stop sometimes. And so with how small the Warriors are, I could see it being an issue. But at the same time, the old man Draymond Horford duo, maybe they could put together the last sparks of their powers and keep him off the glass for one game to get nuked by the Thunder.
Newly acquired NBA champion Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Well, I mean, if we're looking for boards, I don't know if that's the guy I'm turning to, but yeah, shout out to Porzingis. Pablo, what do you think about the Blazers?
I mean, the only like, they're not going to win anything. It's just going to be how do select young players look in a playoff setting, and that's like all I really have interest in this team going forward. We do have 2 lobbyist requests. The first one is from Talented Idiot. Do you think my Trailblazers, he's making TRAID. Okay. Blazers have any hope of free agency quickscopes / off-season trade motion with Damian Lillard returning? I might be an anomaly, but I hate this team together, and I think a seismic shift needs to unravel for anything to progress. Love from South London. Up the IRA. Up the RA.
Okay. Up the RA. I've been on team sell high on Denny for like 6 months at this point. Tyler, I don't know. I don't expect you to be that extreme, but what do you think about everything this offseason with the Blazers?
I was just about to float that same idea, the sell high on Denny thing. I wouldn't do it just because Denny's contract is such a crazy bargain. And like, I don't think any team's going to match that price of it being worth selling high on Denny, unless you get like some crazy young prospect that's on a low contract. Like if San Antonio comes to you and they're like, "Hey, we'll give you Dylan Harper for Denny Avdia," and then it's like,
shit.
My God.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
You just basically said to me, "Hey, what if we did 9/11-2 at your house?" That's basically what you just said to me.
No, I wouldn't like that.
I think it's interesting because I do think it depends on what version of Dame you get back. If Dame comes back and is just prime Dame, or at least like a shell of prime Dame, I feel
what
like
about last we saw Bucks level.
Yeah, that to me, you'd be a very good team. Problem is, where is the defense coming from? Because then I'll say this: the guy I don't even know if he'd sell high at this point, but I have been team trade Shaedon Sharpe. I don't think Shaedon is the fit there. I think with Dame, Denny, and Klingon, I think you maybe have something. Like that's a lot of pressure, especially on the interior, and then Dame's 3-point shooting and Klingon's defensive presence. But it's like then those 2 and 4 spots have to be like elite S tier role players. And Shaedon Sharpe to me is one of those guys who is just a scorer. Very poor defender, very poor decision maker, turns the ball over a lot, kind of just like a gunner. And I just don't think that's the 2 next to Dame and Denny.
No, I agree.
I'm still team Scoot too. Like
I was going to ask, do you still have any Scoot optimism?
Yeah, I'm definitely optimistic about Scoot. But yeah, if your team is Dame, Shaedon Sharpe, Denny, Scoot, I don't know what the direction is. Are you building for the future? Are you trying to win? Because like you're probably an 8 seed. I don't know. I think there is something if you trade Shaedon Sharpe, and it's like, who would you guys say would be the ideal 2 and 4 if you could just fill out the roster with 2 solid role players, and you're starting with Dame at the 1, Denny at the 3, Klingon at the 5, or I guess you could go Denny at the 4. You could go Denny at the 4 if you want.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen? Have you guys seen the reminiscing about the like Blazers of 10 years ago on
yes,
Twitter?
with like Nick Batum and everything.
Yeah, let's get a Batum, let's get a Matthews. No, I don't know who that would be, who the equivalent would be in this NBA. But I just don't believe in a team in Lillard and Denny carrying the offensive burden. Like I just don't believe that could be enough. And especially with, again, Damian Lillard in his prime, I was willing to look past it, but kill him. Small guard.
Damn, that's tough.
You know, one thing I will say is like pretty intriguing is that Dame and Denny alone could give you like 20 free throw attempts a game.
Yeah.
And that's a nice, like if you're going to get like 20 free throws a game from your 2 main guys, and then also you have Klingon, who's just a god on the offensive glass, that's a pretty nice structure to start with.
For the regular
that also depends
season,
on Dame still being a guy who can give you 10 that type of pressure.
That is a big ask at this point. We do have one more. So this is from Shangoon Lover 299. Hello, Dunk and Egg. Do either of you know of the Reddit user Mr. Buck? I went down a rabbit hole the other day. This guy spams the fuck out of the Trailblazers and NBA sub. He even made a subreddit solely for Denny, in which he posts every little thing Denny does. But most of the posts never have more than a couple upvotes. It's K-pop stan levels of fanaticism. Truly strange stuff. That is odd. That's probably an Israeli bot somehow.
The most recent thing he posted was now it's winning time. Cam Thomas is excited to play meaningful basketball. So
beast mode.
He's got some love for. Oh, Ben Saraf is the next. Okay.
Oh yeah, we see the vision. We see the vision with Mr. Buck. All right, let's get to the next team.
Tyler, I'll throw it to you again. Who do you have? Let me guess. Warriors above the Blazers.
It's the Clippers.
Okay, that's who I have. I have, I have them. Okay, let's do Clippers.
So, yeah, the Clippers for me, it's funny because going into the season, this was the team I was the most wrong about. I believe I had them as the my number 4 team going into the season. It was OKC, Denver, Cleveland, and then the Clippers. They were the team I was like dying by the sword on. And then they started 6-21, and I was like, wow, I never thought I'd get something this wrong. And then that last stretch with Harden, with Kawhi healthy. That was the Clippers I envisioned going into the season. And then they're like, all right, let's blow everything up. So to me, I don't know if that is like they think something bad's going to happen with the aspiration stuff. I've seen a lot of talk about them just potentially just voiding Kawhi's contract and making him a free agent who would then be available for the playoffs. Okay. That would be something. But I think the Clippers as currently constructed are still a solid enough team to where you can see them sneaking into the playoffs. But without Zubats, without Harden, they just don't have the offensive. And obviously there's a lot of hanging, like, is Garland going to be healthy? Who knows? Healthy Garland obviously is like a very, very good basketball player. Matherin's looked awesome in his few Clippers games. But I think they're kind of just riding on Kawhi's so good right now that we're going to win a lot of games. But Kawhi's also not God. And at some point, you're just going to run into
or my father team. Or my boss. Do you guys know the reference?
That does sound familiar.
It's Bagel Boss. Do you remember that guy? The guy.
Yeah, he was short, maybe?
It's okay for women to tell short men on dating apps they should kill themselves. Do you know this, Tyler?
Yeah. I'm not familiar with this.
It was a short guy in a bagel shop. He was getting very angry and pointing and yelling. But yeah, he said, "You're not my father. You're not my boss or God. So I'm not listening to you." Yeah, it was a great video.
It was a great video. I love great reference, sick ass reference, Pablo. Thanks, man.
That was a good reference. If I understood the reference, it'd be a good one.
Yeah, no.
All right, we'll pause the podcast. Watch it now. No,
we'll get you the link afterwards. So the good is Kawhi has been insanely good this season. The bad is I don't like Brook Lopez Niederhauser front court. I don't like Chris Dunn point guard minutes.
Spacing, jerk.
Dude, Spacey's fucking nuts, pal. And then it is just like Kawhi. I feel like the other foot is going to drop, not with the scandal stuff, just with his health, where it's like this has been like an otherworldly run in terms of like regular season Kawhi that we haven't seen in a long time. And it's like, will this sustain for 2 playoff series? I have no idea. And once he goes down, if he goes down, then the whole dynamic of the team changes where, they are just not that good. And so I don't know what is going to happen with the aspiration thing. Where I've always assumed it's going to be something that won't affect the rest of the season. Like whether it be like draft picks or some shit or money related, but I don't know. With the departure of Harden makes it interesting. Where like if you told me Harden knows something is coming and he wants to be on a different team because of that, that then makes everything else make sense. Where it's
but I think it was extension related. I think that clears it up because they weren't going to give him an extension, correct?
I don't know. I'm not locked into that.
Yeah, I don't know if that ever got confirmed. Because then didn't Harden come out after he got traded and say like he never asked to be traded?
I do vaguely remember. I kind of remember that.
History tells us that if Harden wants to be traded, he won't like hide from it.
Yeah.
Daryl Morey is a liar.
Daryl Morey. Hey, oh my God, I can't believe the fucking Thunder got McCain, bro. I'm pissed. Yeah,
wait,
Pablo.
Oh, Daryl. Okay, I was like,
what do you think? What do you think about the Clippers? Are you locked into Matherin hoops at all? What do you think?
Well, I go by what Kawhi said. No, we're not doing anything this year. It's over. I just hope Kawhi lands in an interesting spot next year where I'd like to see all the old guys go out in a blaze of glory. Well, not that I care for them, but Kawhi I like. But I would like to see him in a competitive basketball situation again. But yeah, I'm not really counting on this Clippers team to do much this year.
You ready for this theory? I was thinking, like, when I got asked, remember I was talking about the Kawhi trade stuff with the Jazz, which you obviously wouldn't stay in Utah. But I had a few other theories where I was like, if teams decide to trade young stars, match contracts, and go all in on this Kawhi thing, the money works for Devin Vassell and Stephon Castle type of swap for Kawhi to go back to San Antonio team up with Wemby. I don't know if there's still bad blood there. I don't know what that situation's like. The other one, this is the biggest curveball of all. I would never do it, but if the Cavs decided they were done with Evan Mobley, they could reunite James Harden and Kawhi Leonard alongside Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen.
That'd be crazy.
The super team Cavs. And then also you bring an old man LeBron on a minimum, play the floor.
Okay.
And we could get him
in here.
We could get LeBron some money on the side because we'll have a guy who knows some avenues.
There we go.
Uncle
Plant some
Dennis.
trees in Cleveland.
Damn, that's crazy. The Spurs one is interesting to me because
The Spurs basketball fit just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But if
And
you're
it makes-
trading Castle I feel like has a lot of trade value. I don't know where you're at on Castle. We're generally lower, but I think his reputation is very high around the league. So I think he could be the centerpiece of a Giannis trade, and they could pull that off if they wanted to. So if it came down to it, I would look into a Giannis avenue before I go to a Kawhi avenue with him.
That makes total sense. I'm actually probably a little bit higher on Castle. Not than the league, but then at least the people I see on Twitter. Because Castle's not loved by a lot of these analytical guys. I like him. I think Castle's a very good player. Not saying I would do any of these Kawhi trades. I just think it's interesting to think about what a Kawhi trade looks like and what suitors there could potentially be. Because I mean, I feel like Kawhi's going to end up staying a Clipper, but he could help a lot of teams. Like what is he, the third best player in basketball this season?
I mean,
like he should be contending right now.
Yeah, it's just it's weird because I don't know how many guys this good before we've seen exert so much effort to get to a spot as Kawhi did to get to LA, and so it feels like it would take something big to uproot him. But I mean, I'm on board with you. Like I want to see him playing important games again and stuff, and so I don't think
LeBron
this
to the
version of
Clippers.
I don't know, maybe. I'm just saying, like, I think this version of the Clippers is cooked, and I think, maybe they win the play-in, maybe they get, like, a Thunder matchup or something. That's not out of the question, but I don't see them, doing anything crazy.
We've got 3 Clippers lobbyist requests. The first one is from Luka Doncic of Playing Defense. Okay. They said,
all right.
Fourth quarter, why the fuck Batum? And then the next one we have is from Nick Batum Goat Agenda.
That was it?
That was it.
That was the request.
And then from Nick Batum Goat Agenda, they said, computer, lock Pablo in a room with the Chicago Puncher and don't let him out. You ignored my question last week. I guess my $5 means nothing to you. Anyway, please tell me that Kawhi's MVP caliber regular season will translate to the playoffs and he will bring the Clippers their first championship. You're right until that last part. I mean, I think he's still a playoff performer, even though he wasn't like at 100% last year. But yeah, the Clippers championship is out of sight. And then the last one we have is from Delon Flying My Kite. With how checked out Kawhi seems in interviews, saying that the season is over, basically, and how the Clippers suddenly pivoted to rebuild/retool, do you think there's any smoke to the conspiracy theories that a big suspension is coming for Kawhi? Would be very funny if this is where Badam Silver draws the line. Badam Silver.
Okay.
It is.
I mean, it feels like something's
funny.
going to happen. I don't know if it will be. I've also, I guess, assumed that it will be more Clippers targeted than it will be Kawhi specifically targeted.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. From the beginning of this thing, it never crossed my mind that Kawhi would be, like, besides maybe a small fine. Like, I don't think Kawhi is at fault for... I feel like it'd be an organizational type of thing. Like, obviously Kawhi's at fault, but from a league standpoint, it's not Kawhi was doing these shady dealings with these business people. Let's take him out for the rest of the season. Like, I don't think he'd be the target of that type of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
He shouldn't
that's where
be.
I'm at.
But Adam Silver, the Band-Aid. Target all the... we only get Band-Aid solutions. Maybe he'll be like, okay, what if we place Kawhi in a tournament? And if he wins...
There you go.
Then he doesn't get... Have you guys
All
seen
the
that
rule
video?
book, yeah.
Like,
Yes.
where it's like his solution to everything is a tournament.
I'm
All right,
so
next-
sick of this guy.
next
Who
team.
You want to do Warriors next? I mean, that's kind of. I feel like the Clippers and the Warriors exist in like a similar space. Is that who you would have next, Tyler?
It's not.
Okay,
Phoenix?
Fuck the Warriors then. Let's hear.
I was
gonna
say
next.
I do think that we can talk about the Warriors though, because the Warriors Clippers thing does make sense. Because what do you know? My 5th contender going into the season was the Golden State Warriors, who have fallen off the bone. It's literally what's funny is they kind of fall into the similar space, like you said, not just because they're similar caliber teams or whatever, but the fact that everything for them hinged on like very old players still being really good. And then, the Clippers going into the season were hella old. They had Chris Paul. But then also like injury prone players remaining healthy. And the Warriors, for me, I still think the version with Jimmy Butler like would have been a high level playoff team. Like they were very, very good. Jimmy being out completely warps the dynamic of the team because now they can't get to the free throw line. They lose the possession game pretty much every game. And Jimmy was the only thing standing in between that for them. So now they have these holes in their roster. But I look at them and it's like, if I get into a playoff series, and I'll spoil the team that I had in between the Warriors and the Clippers. The Warriors were my number 7, was the Phoenix Suns were my number 8.
Okay.
And it's like, if I get into a playoff series and I have to stare down, like I know Steve Kerr is going to be game planning. I know Draymond's going to be coordinating the defense. I know Steph Curry's going to be Steph Curry this year has been playing at a near prime level. It's kind of just been slept on because of all the stuff going on with Golden State. And then also there's this off chance that a 7'3" demigod's going to give me like 3 games in a series where he just can't miss. The Warriors to me
wake up.
have more of a scare factor where it's like, I can't completely rule out what I know they do. Even if there's a very small chance that it all actually comes together in that way.
Okay. I feel like that's fair. They are scared. I mean, the stuff if Porzingis plays through playoff games, I would be surprised at this point. I'll say that much. But it's cool when he plays. He's talented. And then I do think you can stamp Steph and Draymond in for the stuff that you're describing. I am interested how they navigate. I think Steph is missing another 10 games, they said, with some injury or another.
Is he disqualified already?
I think from awards?
Yeah.
I would assume so. He's missed.
Can't even sit down, he said.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
And just so you know, Tyler, on this show, we're rooting for everyone to miss the awards, so that Adam Silver looks bad. So we're hoping Shea misses enough, and we get a.
I want Shea. I want Jokic. I want Wemby. I want like Jaylen Brown MVP type shit.
There we go. And then on the if Derek White makes the All NBA team, I'm all for this. That's where you get me.
Yeah. Well, that'd be sick. I want him. Well, that would be also dope because for me, it's like the funniest possible outcome is what I want. And so Derek White, 45% true shooting, All NBA second, but he deserves it. Would be so dope. I would love that.
It would break everyone's brains, man. Everyone would be like, "What is going on here?"
Dude, if we got. And that's another thing we talk about on the show is the law of Jason Tatum embarrassment. Whatever the most embarrassing thing possible can happen, that is what will happen to Jason Tatum, and that would be Jaylen Brown MVP, Derek White second all team.
Jaylen Brown MVP, Derek White All NBA second team, and Jason Tatum comes back and the team immediately tanks.
Yeah.
He ruins it. Yes, absolutely.
And then he re-tear the Achilles and then they go on a run.
Okay.
They win the title. Yep.
And they're like, and no one feels bad because they're like, why'd you rush coming back, idiot? That'd be crazy.
Pablo, I mean, do you have any Warriors thoughts?
I just think they're probably. It was already very rough sledding offensively when Jimmy was here. We kept waiting for him to be like, "Hey, take a little more shots, take a little bit more load off these guys."
It's October, dude. Wait a minute.
Yeah, the Jimmy calendar. We were waiting for the Jimmy calendar, but it never kicked in. And so I am very skeptical of their ability to just produce offensively in a world where we're just like sticking all 5 guys on Steph and then begging anyone else to score. But there's a lot of teams. We've talked about this. There's a lot of teams that are struggling to score this year. So maybe they'll be right at home and in the right playoff series against some other people. So I hope we get good Steph. And yeah, I think they could be interesting with the right series, but ultimately that would be my hang up with them. Let's see if we have any lobbyist requests.
My thing with Steph too is like I feel like he's such an outlier of an offensive player where I don't have the same sort of concerns with him that I do with other guys where it's like we don't have any offensive help. We need solely to rely on this guy because just relying on this guy still means like you're just going to get a ton of open layups for role players because like that's the only way you can stop him from scoring 30 efficiently even at this age. So if it's like we have a 7-game sample of just fully amped up Steph Curry like we got last year, I can see the Warriors like being a very tough playoff out just because of the what it takes to guard that. Like, and I don't know if his body could hold up. Like we saw last year, he did that for 7 games, and then Minnesota, he just dies. So after going off in the first quarter, I was like, oh my gosh, he's really going to do it, isn't he? So I do think the Steph variable, is just crazy.
What seed are the Warriors?
Yeah. Okay. We're the 8th seed. Oh, so OKC. I don't love that matchup. But who if you're the Warriors, if you're the Warriors, who do you want? That's realistic.
Probably
trying to get the Rockets to go. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah,
I would say
San Antonio
the Rockets because I think San Antonio. I think the two things you have going for you is we can probably make Wemby guard 30 feet out, and in a way that other teams can't because we have Steph Curry. But then the other side of that is San Antonio employs a lot of like gimmicky 3-point shooters or just straight up non 3-point shooters. So maybe we can like prime Draymond this thing up. Not that I would pick them over San Antonio in a series, but I'd rather have that than Denver, for example. I think Denver just blitzes them. I think OKC just blitzes them. And I don't think any other team's even in contention to get high enough to face the Warriors, right? Isn't it just those 3?
Yeah. I think Houston might be the dream, but they're too far away at this point.
Right. If it was, Houston was possible.
Big run.
Or like the Lakers. I think that'd be
you'd need a
big run.
You'd need a Warriors run rather than those guys. That would be the path. But so for the Golden State Warriors, Wemby Goat Agenda says power scaling question. Yo, Jink and Pink and secret smart guest, probably Carson from Third Sesh.
It's
Idiot,
not him, dumbass.
Where does Israel rank in the all-time evil regimes list? I mean, I don't know because that goes. I mean, they were doing nutso stuff in the past, like Belgium.
What the fuck do I know about King Leopold, man?
It's impossible.
Ivan the Terrible. Like what,
dude,
yeah,
I don't even know why he was terrible, but he had to earn that somehow.
Name,
so we're the wrong people to ask. The Michael Jordan of drunk driving. Hey, Pecco and Smile. Is there any reason not to tank? Also, making a prediction that the Warriors are going to take Bennett Sturts if they keep their pick. No hate or love yet. Just seems like something they'd do. By the way, tell Spawn Hour to watch Ping Pong. I've given up on you two fucking chuds. Love, your dear friend and close personal ally, Michael J. Okay. Are you an anime guy at all, Tyler?
Am I a fan of what?
Are you an anime guy at all?
Oh, an anime guy at all? No, I'm not.
Okay.
Not even in the slightest. I watched Pokemon as a kid, and that's about it.
Okay, yeah, that counts.
This guy's been trying for years to get us to watch. We're anime guys, but he wants us to watch a specific one called Ping Pong the Animation about ping pong.
So when you said watch ping pong, I thought you meant like Marty Supreme, like we're actually watching ping pong. I was like,
no,
okay.
There's a specific ping pong anime.
I got
but
you.
as for the team, Bennett Sturts, it's possible. Is there any reason not to tank? The reason not to tank is you're too freaking good, and you still have freaking Steph Curry, idiot. So you got to go on a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
Next
is there anything going on with their first round pick, or do they just own it outright?
Well, this guy said if they keep it. So let me see.
That's what I was wondering. Like, is it top 10 protected or like top lottery protected? Maybe.
It says they own their shit. The only protected thing they have is 2030. there's like a weird thing where Washington, if it falls outside the top 20, the Wizards get it. Well, I guess the Mavericks get it now because that was involved in the AD trade. But yeah, they own their shit outright this year. All right.
Oh yeah, one thing we didn't talk about, and not to like go back, but we didn't address like what if the Clippers do get that Pacers pick 5 through 8? That changes things a lot.
Oh,
I totally forgot they have like a potential top 8 pick.
Damn, it would be cool. I don't know. I feel like Kawhi, if Kawhi's getting traded, it's happening regardless. So I don't know, like, if it changes the other decisions they make this, because everything's already blown up besides Kawhi, really. Like, they already shipped off Harden and Zubats and stuff. But it would be, like, I've been saying it, it's the most exciting lottery ever this year. There's so many different, like, cascading effects of where picks are going to go. So, yeah, it's nice that we got one more before we go fucking tournament style or whatever. Do you want to talk Suns next?
Yeah, that's perfect. They're my number 8 team. They've been a really fun team. Very good. They're kind of like one of those teams that slightly above average, kind of similar to what I talked about with Portland. They're a slightly below average offense, actually, and a slightly above average defense. They have like about a neutral-ish net rating, I'm pretty sure, even though they're well above 500. So they're one of those hard teams that's kind of hard to get a read on from a statistical standpoint. I think I really like their depth. They've got a lot of like just playable NBA players. I'm very high on Colin Gillespie. I think he's awesome. Mm-hmm. I think they have good size and athleticism, a decent bit of versatility, which tends to translate well to the playoffs. I don't think they have any sort of like high end rim pressure. Like I don't know how they're going to break down a good playoff defense. That's my first concern, where it's like they do a very good job of moving the ball, creating advantages with screens and spraying it out to shooters. They're a really good shooting team. They're good on the offensive glass. But when we get into the playoffs and we are like teams are switching everything and we have to create blow-bys, get deep paint touches, I don't know if I'm confident in their ability to do that. And then on the other side of things, it's like they're not an elite enough defense to make up for that concern, where it's like you still probably have a couple weak links you can attack. I will say, though, I really hope if they do like get into a playoff series, Oso Ighodaro has a bigger role because he's awesome. And especially like that 2-man pairing of him and Gillespie, that's the future for me with Phoenix.
Okay.
Gillespie's the future?
Gillespie and Ighodaro, both
and
of them.
Specifically, they're like a package. Like at recess, when you pick a team, they have to stay together.
We have to we're on the same team, dude. Otherwise, I'm not playing.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's pretty much what I wrote down for them. I love their Dylan Brooks, Gillespie, Grayson Allen, Mark Williams playing so many games this year is fucking crazy for them. Yeah. And so, I really like their supporting cast. It is just kind of a matter of, they should have rim pressure because Devin Booker should be really good, but it's not been like the most classic Devin Booker season. Every time I watch them, it is like wild. They pull out like an incredibly close game against a good opponent, and I'm like, how the fuck are they like 8 games above 500? But they keep accomplishing it. And so my question for you is, what do you think a Jalen Green return means for this team if he is like healthy?
That's one of the most explosive guys in the league. He should be able to generate paint touches at will.
Well, that's
hypnotize him. Maybe
that's what's really weird, because it's like ideally Jalen Green fixes what I'm talking about, where it's like you get your high end rim pressure, you get your blow by guy, but Jalen Green then has other issues. Like I don't think he's nearly as good of a connector as any of the guys that he's going to be taking minutes from. In terms of like quick extra passes, quick decisions, and their style of play is very much initial advantage, swing, spray it out to shooters. I don't think Jalen Green fits that style of play as well. And then also Jalen Green is then probably giving up a little bit defensively. So it's weird because I think he's like obviously a very talented player, covers up some weaknesses for them, but then creates new weaknesses with his style of play. And then of course takes touches away from Devin Booker and Gillespie and whatnot. So it's weird. I have seen a lot of people saying that Jalen Green's return is going to make them a lot worse. I don't know if I'm there, but I don't think it really moves the needle in either direction for them.
He had 26 against the Spurs on 23 shots.
When?
The 19th.
I think they got stomped. I don't think.
Yeah,
that was
they
a
lost
close
by
game.
like 30.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I would have thrown that on if he was like cooking in the fourth or something. But yeah, no, it's tough. I don't know. I've never been a big Jalen Green guy, but at the same time, I do feel like this season has helped me recontextualize the offensive setting he left behind in Houston. It's not that good. It can be tough to survive in a setting like that if you're not like a super high level, I don't know, Kevin Durant level shot maker or something. And so, yeah, I don't know. I put them above the Warriors because I feel like the best is yet to come with Booker. I want to see Booker. Like, I do feel like if he could just get his legs under him down the final stretch of this season, I feel like he should fix some of the issues that you're talking about. And then I just feel like top to bottom, a more realistic team than the Warriors, where it's like if Porzingis is there for 4 games or whatever for half of the series, that we can get into that discussion. But I just feel like there's a much more like realistic recipe for the Suns to be an aggressive, annoying first round matchup for somebody. I don't think either team is ultimately going to matter that much, but I do think, the Suns are a good story this year. Pablo, do you have any Phoenix thoughts?
Who are we matched up with? My phone is tweaking out right now. Who are we matched up with right now in the playoffs if we're Phoenix?
I think it's San Antonio.
Oh, yeah, San Antonio. So, yeah, that'd be an interesting series. But again, I'm just skeptical of the overall talent level, I guess. So I think they're a try-hard, plucky team, but I'm not counting on much more. And there are no lobbyist requests for these bad boys.
Great.
Phoenix was the team. They were my number 1 team for Giannis. I was like, if they find a way to get Giannis and keep like most of their structure in core with the amount of shooting and extra passing and defensive tenacity they have, I was like, they would be a tier 1 contender for me if they just added Giannis. And like, what's your starting 5 then? You go Gillespie, Booker, Dylan Brooks, O'Neal, Giannis at the 5, or you go Giannis and Mark Williams, bring O'Neal off the bench.
I feel like that Giannis and Mark Williams could work.
Well, they would just have no way to get him because they have no picks,
and
so they'd have to give up everyone.
Jalen Green,
and that's
Ryan
but
Dunn?
like. But that's kind of what I'm talking about with Phoenix, where it's like they have a very good like playoff infrastructure.
Yeah.
It's just they need that high end shot creation that they don't have.
If we
And
just get
it's like,
Kevin Durant
if Jalen Green just becomes an All NBA type of guard, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking.
Bro, it's crazy that Brooks is having this kind of year. I did not expect Dylan Brooks to be this good, and so that's just like what you're talking about with like the lack of rim pressure. It's so funny to hear that criticism and then like think about every Dylan Brooks play I've watched this year where it's like I get like 7 feet away from the rim and this is a turnaround mid-range, baby. And sometimes it goes in and sometimes it's sick, and it's gotten us to this point. But yeah, it does lead to some overall approach flaws. Okay, no requests for them. This is where I cut off my like low tier normie tier that you're talking about, and now we're getting into more serious playoff teams, at least from my perspective. Did you have a similar thing with your list?
I actually had the Warriors and the Suns grouped in with my next 2 teams in like this like long shot playoff series win tier. Or maybe not long shot, but like I expect them to lose in the first round type of tier. Versus like the Clippers and Blazers to me were in their own tier of like, we're just trying to get in the playoffs.
Okay, that's fair. Who do you want to talk about in there?
My next team is the Lakers.
Okay. They're not that much farther up my list. I think, okay. What are your thoughts? What are your big concerns? What are the strengths and weaknesses with LA?
The Lakers are weird, man. The Lakers are really weird. I think mainly the main problem is they're just a bad defensive team across the board. They're just a bad defensive team, and especially when they're at full strength and you've got Luka and Reeves. And at this point, I hate to say it, LeBron's just a bad defender. At this point, he's just a bad defensive player for the Lakers. Every time he's out there, he bleeds value. He appears to be mortal after all. But the reality is, playoff series are generally won on the margins. And it's like, yes, the stars drive most of the value, and that's what like ultimately puts you in a position to win. But it's like, how are you on the possession battle? How are you in winning the transition game? All that little things like are you versatile defensively? And the Lakers are one team that across the board, they just suck in all those areas. They turn the ball over a lot. They don't force a ton of turnovers. They don't get any offensive rebounds. So they don't win the possession game. Their role players aren't good 3-point shooters besides Luke Kennard, who then creates the worst defensive lineup in the league if you play him next to your stars. But the one thing that I can't just like discount is that they're at their best. Like their shot creation is unbelievable. And more so than just LeBron. Like I'm not even super high on this version of LeBron. If you can't generate blow-bys against Brook Lopez, I don't know what your advantage creation is going to look like in the playoffs. But Luka and Austin Reeves, man, especially Austin Reeves, like the ascension he's had this season as just like a clearly like an all NBA type of shot creator is unbelievable. And the fact that him and Luka are going to generate so many fouls, they're going to make so many tough shots, and they're going to get everyone involved with high level passing. Mm-hmm. And then LeBron in this more connective role, their offensive floor is pretty high to me, but their offensive ceiling is just unbelievable. If the 3-point shots start falling, I can see them posting like a 130 offensive rating over a 4-game stretch.
Yeah. I didn't realize LeBron's 3 was down so much this year. That was one thing that's 30% on like 4.5 attempts. It's his worst since his rookie year. I think the worst of his career on like 4+ attempts. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been really tough for him.
That switch will be flipped. Don't worry.
Okay. Hey, I guess. Whatever.
He's a switch flipper, dude.
Even if it happens, I mean, like, this still isn't that good of a team. Like, the number one thing that stuck out to me, I cannot believe that they're going to war with Ayton and Hayes front court rotation. Like, that's just such a brutal 1-2. Ayton has been about what I expected him to be. So, like, it's not, if you know a car crash is coming, it's not that scary to watch it in real time, but like it's a car crash nonetheless. I think he's been terrible. I think he will be a massive flaw for them in playoff matchups against like anybody. There's so many holes that he gives them on the floor on both ends, really. And then, yeah, there's just like no combination of guys they can roll out that can be tenable on both directions on offense and defense. And it's been like that for a long time with them. I am very high on, when you brought up Reeves, for some reason, I got taken back to the Jazz segment, and I was like, yo, imagine Reeves on the Jazz and Keontae's spot. That'd be crazy. But yeah, I think offensive ceiling is incredibly high. If they can avoid getting blown out, I feel like you have watched more of them than I have this year. How have they been down the stretch in the clutch? They've been like a very high net rating clutch team, right? Very good.
Yeah, and it's just like it's the surgical offensive execution. It's like pretty much down the stretch if you're the Lakers, you're going to get a good shot pretty much every time.
Yeah, so if they can avoid.
That's a nice thing to have going into the playoffs, where it's like we know if we get into these sticky situations, we can like squeeze out 4 wins if we need to.
Yes, it's just like if you're down, 17, like that's a tough way for them to pivot out of. And so
it's like the Minnesota series last year. They just got destroyed in every category. They just got like they were smaller, they were less athletic. They lost the possession game. They lost the transition game. They just got dominated in every facet. And it wouldn't surprise me if any of the top teams in the West do the exact same thing this year.
Yeah. The athleticism is like a huge issue for them when you watch, where they just have no guys who are like fast twitch athletes or that can jump. Like, it's just wild to watch some of these other, like the Rockets or, the Thunder or the Spurs. The Nuggets, to a lesser degree, they're not like as athletic of a team, but yeah, the Lakers just tough, man. Pablo, what do you think?
Yeah, nothing new. Just the athletic limitations are going to be tough to overcome, but the freaking geniuses they have are going to be epic to watch. But they're mostly only epic to watch in the half court offensively. so that's the obstacle they face. We have one Lakers. Eli the Fighter. high washer and dryer, longtime lobbyist, first time sober lobbying. Okay.
Okay. Well, that's probably maybe this is the first one we've ever read from you. You probably left some dumb ones before.
I feel like I've read that name before, Eli the Fighter.
Okay.
Slightly tangential here, but bear with me. The Lakers suck, so this doesn't have much to do with them. Okay. But I started reading The Breaks of the Game, the book that Bill Simmons mentioned, and it's really good. Which team would you guys want a book written in that style about in today's NBA? I think the post-2020 Lakers would be interesting because the storylines of all the failed role player swings and pressure of playing for the Lakers is a fun dynamic to learn more about. Love the pod. I don't know fully what The Breaks of the Game is.
Me neither.
I've heard Bill mention it.
I think it's about the Bill Walton Trailblazers, but I assumed it was about when they won the title. This description makes it seem like it's about them winning and then the downfall of
that's what it
that
sounds
team.
like to me, like based on the context clues. And if it's over like since 2020, like a multi-year, it's got to be the Mavericks.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
Like you have this young, like you basically start at Luka's rookie year, and it's like this. We have this up and coming superstar. We have these playoff moments. Then the team falls off a cliff. Then we bring in Kyrie Irving and revamp the roster. And then we're a finals team. And then we trade him for Anthony Davis, and then we draft Cooper Flag. It's like I think just so much has happened. It's insane.
Yeah, hard to go wrong with that pick. I was also thinking, I guess the Thunder would be cool, but that's like more, it would have to be like 20, like 15 years, 2010 to 2025. It would need to be like a pretty big book, like I
do wonder if specifically this question, because of the way it got framed as like a Lakers, and then also like you said with the Blazers, they win a championship and then the downfall. Maybe they're referring to a team that won a championship and then had a downfall. Like, is that a very specific criteria?
Maybe Bucks
like,
could be cool.
The Bucks could be very cool. Could be the Warriors after 2022.
That would be a good one.
I guess there was not really a downfall. Like, it's the
Raptor.
You write about the Raptors championship year, and then it's like, oh yeah, and then their superstar, their 1 year rental left. At the end.
And the Warriors book would be so a new chapter starts with Jonathan Kuminga walked into practice. And you're like, oh my god,
with a sack full of tons of food, way more food than anybody could handle. I would like to see it. There's no championship involved, but I would just like a behind the scenes look at everything that Arturis does. I need a snapshot of what Arturis Karnisovas is doing day to day, because I firmly believe it's nothing.
If we're talking about the downfall of a team after a peak, the Hawks after 2021. After that, that Eastern
they've had a
Conference
lot
run.
of bizarre ownership stuff, too.
Or the Grizzlies too, like the Grizzlies after their run.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot where it's like that's what I'm talking about. When you get that one fun year, and then it's like, oh, this team fucking sucks 3 years after the fact or something.
It also it's teaching teams to, I think, sell high earlier when it's like don't fall for it. Like the Hawks in 2021, like after that season, they probably thought they were close. Mm-hmm. They weren't close at all. They were not remotely close. If they somehow did get past Milwaukee, I think they just get nuked by Phoenix.
Yeah,
in the finals.
I agree. It's like all we need is 4 rounds where we get a Ben Simmons type player on the other team every time, and we can fucking do it, baby.
Oh, all right, guys, let's relax. Remember, Trey had a foot injury, and if healthy Trey was there, remember he dropped 41 right on the freaking Bucks' head, and with a foot injury, so he would have freaking dominated Chris Paul because he's a better passer than he ever was. So.
Oh, settled.
Oh, next team.
Wow.
Next team.
Wow. Spitting on the dead. He just retired, dude.
And you guys obviously don't remember how much more competent Kevin Huerter was as a secondary ball handler back then, okay? And Clint Capella was fresher back then.
Okay. And John Collins was fucking, he was up and coming, dude. Okay, who do you have after or above the Lakers, I guess? Who's your next team, Tyler?
Yeah, this is my last team in this tier, and it's Houston.
Okay.
It's just the fact that they've got a lot. They're essentially the anti-Lakers, right? Like they got a lot of the stuff I talked about that's a concern with the Lakers. They're big, they're athletic, they win the possession game, super versatile defensively, but they have very little ball handling, very little playmaking, very little shooting. Everything that's wrong with the Lakers is right with the Rockets, and everything that's wrong with the Rockets is right with the Lakers. To me, they just like, that's why I have them right in this same, like, interchangeable, where it's like, I don't know which one I value more. I probably would lean towards Houston because I think they have a little bit more depth. But also, if it was a Lakers versus Rockets playoff series, I don't know who I'd pick. I really
agree.
don't.
It's tough to like go into that because this could be theoretically could be the 4-5 matchup. Like it's not out of the question. That would be crazy. Because I really don't know who I would pick either. Because I don't even know if the Rockets have the firepower to like blow out the Lakers the way that you're. Well, I guess if they get a bunch of transition shit going, that could be pretty nasty for LA. I have them in a similar tier. With the Lakers, I am very worried that the possession battle has gone from like superpower that you could build a contender to with Steven Adams to something they're just pretty good at post Steven Adams injury.
And
what do you
also
got?
the Van Vliet stuff, because a big part of their possession battle before was we not only dominate the offensive glass, we don't turn the ball over. Now they turn the ball over a lot. So then also on top of that, downgrading Steven Adams, now the possession game is like starting to even out a little bit more. They're not an outlier. They're more of just like, we're good at this. And so like, if they're just good at that, and then they're a very poor shooting team, what does that leave you with?
What do you think about Şengün? Where are you at on Şengün right now?
I think a lot of this recent stretch is, I'm like kind of back and forth on the Şengün stuff, but I do think a lot of this is the injury stuff. Because at the beginning of the season, he looked a lot better. And also like in this, he's not in a favorable offensive environment, of course, but I do think Şengün's a very weird player in that I don't know if he's a good enough creator to build an offense around. Like, I do think there's a lot of juice there. Like, he clearly is a very skilled post and isolation scorer. He's going to draw fouls. He's a very, very good passer. Really good ball handler for a big. But I don't know if it's enough from the efficiency standpoint of, like, we can build an entire playoff offense around this. But then also, he's just very weak in all of the off-ball areas. Like, he's a bad pick-and-roll finisher. Not a spacer. So it's like, what is the value of building an offense where Şengün's just like a cog instead of the focal point? I don't know. I really don't know. That's why I never understood the baby Jokic stuff. Like, Şengün, he has none of the off-ball malleability of Jokic. None of it. Besides, like, the fact that Şengün's a very good offensive rebounder. That's about it.
Yeah. I'm on board. I am trying not to overreact to the recent stretch because I do agree. Like, it lines up with an ankle sprain and a couple different things where he started playing like really, really bad ball. But yeah, I don't know. I do just worry about, like, there's so many different matchups where I think he would really struggle against, like, obviously Draymond last year is a brutal, like, first playoff experience for him. But I do think the Thunder would be very tough for him. He's consistently had Wemby's number in matchups. I know the last time they played, he was not good, but he has had several big scoring outings against Wemby before. So I don't know how that specifically would go.
How does he play against Denver based on your...
It's always like a very scrappy series or matchup. Like I never feel like he gets the better of Jokic individually, but I feel like it's always like coming down to the wire. I don't know if they've played since Steven Adams went down though, and so I'm curious like because I do remember that like the offensive rebounding stuff was less effective because Jokic is such a fucking vacuum on the glass, and so I wonder if Steven Adams is out. I'm curious if that like advantage has dwindled enough for it to be like clearly you should lean Denver there.
To answer your main question though, where I'm at with Şengün, I'd say compared to consensus, at least where it was a few months ago, I feel like consensus right now is very low on Şengün. But in terms of like where people generally stood on him over the past 2 years, I would say I'm on the lower end of the spectrum with Şengün's offense, but I'd say I'm probably about as high as you can get on his defense. Like I remember last year especially, I was very high on Şengün's defense. So I guess overall, I think he's just like an all-star, probably an all-star caliber player. Like, what does that make him? A top 30-ish player in the NBA?
Yeah.
top 35-ish, I think is fair. But it also wouldn't surprise me if, like, once we get a bigger playoff sample, people start to be like, I wouldn't be surprised if the long-term kind of perception on Şengün follows a similar track to what's happened with Paolo. Not to the extremity, but to the point where it's like, he's no longer shiny new toy. We actually think Şengün is like, you can't build a good team around him. Or like a good playoff team, I should say.
Pablo, what do you think?
The Rockets, honestly, I really like the Kevin Durant stuff has ruined them for me. Like, I just feel like no matter what what they say, the chemistry is ruined. Like, every time one of them makes a mistake, they're just going to be thinking, Kevin Durant's probably talking bad about me to his friends after this one. So I just feel like there's going to be at the first level. So if they don't just steamroll the Lakers, just like run them off the court like they have kind of been doing, if there's the first sign that they're met with any resistance, I just feel like they'll cave and they'll just give up on this iteration of the team. But even chemistry issues aside, I think they're just built to struggle in the playoffs because, like, Amen is already having a hard time finding where to be, what to do on the offensive end of the regular season. If Şengün, like, when they were blasting people for the beginning of the season, it was because Şengün was playing way better offensively than he is now. And if that's not going to come back, then it's just Kevin Durant ISO ball, and he does not get to the rim anymore. He's just God mode jumper. So this is just built to fall apart. They're very good, but the vibes are rancid. So we have one question from the Order of Pacism. What would affect a team's power rankings more? Their best player being exposed for talking shit about everyone on the team, or a real cataclysmic event like a hurricane or another home location moving event? I think this is worse than moving because you can rally around it. You can say, the Hurricane Harvey brought us all together, so we're going to play the best freaking basketball of our lives. Versus this case, Kevin Durant's the freaking hurricane, and he's washed away all your homes. Is
the last time a team relocated because of that, was it Chris Paul's like Hornets team, the Oklahoma City Hornets?
So. Well, we had the COVID Florida Raptors.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I totally forgot about that. That's a crazy poll. The Florida Raptors, man. Wow.
Were they in Tampa? I believe they were Tampa.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
They were
awesome.
just boring that year.
That's such like a crazy niche basketball knowledge thing for the future. Like, do you remember when the Raptors played in Florida? Because at least with the Hornets, like, we have jersey evidence that says Oklahoma City on it. There's no Tampa Bay Raptors jersey. It was just like they happened to be playing in Florida.
Yeah. And what's really funny is that I just forgot. I just completely lost my train of thought. What were you just about to say?
I was about to agree with you that the Rockets have to come hang out with the Hurricane every day. Like, you have to go, you have to walk into the locker room. It's like, great, there's rain everywhere right now. And
it's like
it's blowing the wind at you, and they're like, he's not mad, I promise.
He's not mad, yeah.
You ever seen the hypothetical question where it's like, would you rather fight a lion once a year or a chicken every single time you get in your car?
Holy fuck.
Oh,
well, I don't drive, so that's easy for me. I'll fight the chicken, but that is very difficult.
It's like, but what if it's you have to fight like a mountain lion once ever. You have to fight a mountain lion once ever.
I can't get through it.
But
I'm definitely dying to a mountain lion.
Maybe you've got some level of weaponry. Maybe you've got like some backup or something. I don't know. We have to even out the scenario. All I know is if you have to fight a chicken every time you get in your car, for the rest of your life.
I also am confident that if I drove every day and I had to fight a chicken every day, I would die within a year, because a chicken could if they get you on like a serious vein or something. Because I'm also thinking, I guess I'm thinking like a cockfighting rooster type thing, like a very aggressive. You're thinking he has training. Yeah. But it would be tough.
We did get asked recently. One gigantic or one Carson-sized chicken or 50 chicken-sized Carsons from Nerdsesh, and we're in an empty Walmart, but there's stuff on the shelves that we can use. Actually, I think it was a gigantic chicken, right?
What
It was
is
a
this
horse.
question?
It was a horse-sized chicken.
Horse-sized
Horse-sized chicken or 50 chicken-sized Carsons. You're in an empty Walmart with all of the
Yeah.
stuff still in there. Which would you rather fight?
I chose the jumbo chicken.
Same. Because we talked it through. The Carsons can think is where you really start to lose
Yeah.
your advantage. There's like 50 guys who can like, they're small, but they can like coordinate attacks and shit.
I think I'm taking the 50 Carsons.
Really?
Okay.
And maybe this
Yeah.
goes in line with me calling out Carson for the influencer boxing, but I think I just think I don't care. Like, I'm trying to think a normal sized chicken. Like, it's almost like I understand there's an advantage with there being so many of them and them being able to like sneak up on you and like jump off of shelves and stuff, but like they're all pretty much one hit, right? Like,
I guess.
if you
yeah.
drop kick a human that's the size of a chicken, think about that. Your foot is almost as big as their entire body. That'd be like getting hit by a car.
True.
True.
so
Okay.
you can
He's in good.
just
He's in
stomp
good
him.
shape though.
But like if
Wait.
like one of them jumps on me, if like how much damage can one? Like I guess they
But
can.
they can
With
grab.
fingers?
They can have a knife,
Yeah.
dude.
They can also grab stuff off the shelves. That's what makes it tough.
It's
So like,
tough. It's tough.
but also can a chicken-sized Carson hold a knife? Because the knife's as big as he is.
It's like a spear
It's
for him.
like he's dragging it around like a flagpole. It's like,
Wait. How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
Okay. What's Carson? Is he like 6'2" or is he bigger?
He's big.
Yeah, he's pretty. I bet he's like 6'4".
Yeah,
if
he's
I had
tall.
to guess. Yeah.
Do you think is it a good physical matchup? Or are you worried he might have too much length on you for boxing?
Well, we talked it through. I actually already we talked about this.
I think he's a fucking spreadsheet nerd, and he's probably used to fucking keyboard strokes.
He's
and
got.
can't
We
handle
actually,
the
we
smoke.
planned. We said once both of us fall off and we're no longer able to talk about basketball, we're gonna revive ourselves with a little
Nice.
influencer boxing.
That's better than becoming like racist, I guess. If those are the
That's
two.
that's
grifter
the second
options.
alternative. It's like if the boxing doesn't work out, then we gotta start grifting. Maybe at some point in there I'll try look smashing. We'll see how that works out.
Oh,
for me. Maybe do some
okay.
bone smashing. Maybe that'll be in preparation for my
Nice.
fight.
That'd be sick. You just show up handsome as fuck, being like, "It's part of my training." Yeah,
looking like handsome Squidward, dude.
Just
Okay.
let Carson get some hits in, and you'll do it naturally over the course of the fight.
We're done. Rockets. We talked Rockets last, and they're
screw 'em.
fake, and they're built to
we?
fucking fail in the playoffs and stuff. And Şengün stinks, and you can ignore him as a shooter. And Reed Shepard's a small guard, so we're killing him and all that stuff.
And Ime's a thought.
Wow.
Ime's a hoe on top of everything else.
Wow.
Okay, who do you want to talk? Who do you want to talk post Rockets? We have, I think, there's 4 teams left, and I know that the Thunder are 1. So who do you have above the Rockets?
Now
here?
we're talking about some Chads. This is where
Yes.
Oh, nice.
now we're talking about some serious Chad going on. My number 4 team is the Spurs, and it kind of feels weird to say because of the way they've dominated the regular season. Like by all statistical indicators, it's like this is the second best team in basketball, essentially. I am not fully bought in on 2 concerns with them. One,
Okay.
I think, and this isn't a fault of Wemby, and I can say this as a longtime Gobert truther, but when you have this monumental type of defensive impact, every team's first adjustment going into a playoff series or like first game plan is going to be how can we attack this guy's defensive impact in every single way imaginable, and I'm concerned for how old's Wemby? 21? Like a 21-year-old going into his first ever playoff experience, and it's like, this team is going to try to do everything they possibly can to limit my defensive impact. I'm going to have to make so many split-second decisions, so many tough reads. I'm going to have to switch onto so many different types of players. I think that's going to be a tough thing for them to hurdle because of how much he does for their defense and how much they rely on him to clean up everything at the rim. But the second aspect of it is their shooters. I don't trust a lot of their shooters. I don't know if Keldon Johnson's going to continue to be like what he is right now in the playoffs. De'Aaron Fox obviously is like not a bad shooter, but he's not a great shooter. Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper, I think you can chalk both of them in right now as non-playoff 3-point shooters. So then you're just relying on a lot of like just overwhelming a team with athleticism and physicality and things like that. And I just think when you talk about teams of this caliber, I think the Spurs probably pose the most unique challenge for OKC. But against some of these other teams, I think I would give these other teams a better chance to beat them than I would like other high end like championship type of contenders.
Yeah. Pablo?
I think we're gonna see, the Wemby factor is the biggest X factor. Do you think, Tyler, is there any chance that what do you think your opinion of Wemby, will it be altered at all by the playoffs? Do you think there's a chance he could just freaking dominate the whole way and we go, oh god, this monster is already here? Or
so
if he struggles, do you think you'll be like, all right, let's take it back, we need some more reps before we get this thing going? Or do you think you'll probably be like, no, this is well within expected?
Well, my opinions always change based on the playoffs because I think playoff basketball is just so different. So like when we're ranking players or talking about like championship type of things, everything has to revolve around what it's going to look like in the playoffs. And I do have, even just like since Wemby came in the league as a rookie, a few just like hanging question marks where I'm like, I need to see this against a playoff defense. Specifically like his ability to go up against switch heavy, wing heavy defenses that are going to try and push his touches away from the basket. Like, does he become very mid-range jumper reliant? And then what does his efficiency look like? Things like that. Can he impose himself physically on offense in the way he's been doing these past few weeks? Because he's looked unbelievable for most of this season. That's kind of where my head's at. And it's like, if he's goes, yes, I can physically impose myself on any type of defense, even OKC in the playoffs. Like, he's just dominant on the interior. Then I'm kind of just ready to say this is a top 3 player in the world, because then it's like I don't really have any more question marks. It's kind of like you answered it. But there's also the aspect of if it goes south and we see he becomes very jump shot reliant, starts to go back to the high 3-point rate and stuff against these switch heavy defenses, and then the efficiency isn't there, the offensive creation isn't there. Then I'm kind of like, okay, there's still a lot of room for growth. He's still very raw. The weird thing with this is like I always give a team a boost when it's like you have just this level of player. Like with the Lakers, it's like you have Luka Doncic, I can't just write you off. Or the Warriors, we talked about it with Steph. They have Steph, so I can't just write them off because that creates so many problems. Wemby to me meets that criteria, but it's different because it's mostly defense. And the last time we saw a player like that is 2020 Anthony Davis. And we saw what that looked like for the Lakers, like that, having that chess piece, even in 2023, like he just destroyed everything until Denver. But yeah, I think the Wemby variable is really weird. Yeah. The Wemby variable is weird.
Yeah, I'm very worried because I do like in the clutch with San Antonio, I feel like we've already started to see some of the stuff that you're describing where it's like, if De'Aaron Fox doesn't have it going, then the offense does kind of boil down to like Wemby get a touch and please save us or like make something happen. And when that happens, anybody with a strong base is making him start like 18 feet away from the basket. Like I think about Lou Dort did that pretty admirably when they matched up against the Thunder, even though the Spurs have kind of nuked the Thunder team for team this season. Like I do feel like they have a couple different guys who have accomplished that. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm waiting to see whether or not that's like a real issue. I would say I expect that to be a real issue in the playoffs this year. Like I do think the ability to push him away from the basket is something that's going to give San Antonio trouble on offense. And I don't think it'll be their biggest issue, but I think it'll be the thing people talk about the most, where it's like Castle sucks at shooting and Harper sucks at shooting, and they have all of these different issues, but like Wemby getting the ball and forcing up tough twos will be like the most visually regular thing that's happening on the floor. And so I feel like that's probably what people are going to focus in on the most. But I hope I'm wrong. Like I hope that Wemby is sick, and I hope that I feel similarly about the Suns, where I like some of their role players. Like I like Champagnie a lot for them. I do hope Keldon Johnson sustains as this like glue guy archetype into the playoffs. I hope Devin Vassell can show up for them in some big games. But yeah, I think for a team that's like going into the playoffs for the first time, there are so many question marks that when you talk about the other 3 teams we have remaining, I don't know. You just feel like more comfortable with the guys who have so much experience.
I could see them being a team that struggles with turnovers a lot in the playoffs.
I agree. Well, I mean, yeah, because it's just like, I don't know. Like, I am very worried about, like, Stephon Castle primary initiation stuff. And, I mean, it's not like Fox is, like, a Fred VanVleet guy that never turns it over or something. Like, they just have so many people who, when they get a touch, it's like, yeah, we might turn it over here. It might just happen. Pablo, what do you think about that?
All right, we have some lobbyist requests, and now we're going. We've gone so long. I'm only gonna read the ones that have to do with power rankings. So I apologize. Okay. Like someone asked a Cade question in here, so we can't do that.
Shut up, dude.
This from Igor Giddy. Spurs, hello, it's Igor Giddy. Spurs' most likely playoff matchup in round 1 will be the Suns, which doesn't worry me much. And overall in the West, I think the Spurs are better than every team besides OKC and Denver. But my main concern is the Timberwolves. They have a complete wall around the rim in Gobert, which forces more outside attempts from a pretty poor shooting Spurs team. Lakers are just fodder, though. So how do you think the Spurs will do against the more veteran West teams like the Wolves or the Rockets? Tyler, do the Wolves specifically concern you if you're San Antonio?
Definitely, for the reasons listed, and then also their offensive versatility, the way they can spread the floor on offense. Minnesota, and not to segue this into the Minnesota conversation because they are my number 3 team, but to me, they have like a big 4 superpowers that just makes them so well built for the playoffs. It's the fact that they're big, they're super athletic, they're super lineup versatile, and they can shoot the piss out of the ball. When you have those 4 things, like your playoff floor is just so high. And specifically against San Antonio, it's like they can do a bunch of things to stretch Wemby. They can force San Antonio to shoot a lot of threes when like I said, I'm not sure I fully trust their shooters. Yeah, I think Minnesota could be a matchup problem for San Antonio for sure. And that is a possible matchup that could happen. Like if Minnesota drops to 7, it could happen in the first round. I think with the way San Antonio's looked, they should solidify themselves as a top 2 seed, I feel like.
Yeah, they're 4 games ahead of the 3 seed right now. So I'm comfortable penciling them in top 2 right now. I don't think they'll drop that poorly. It would take a crazy Nuggets are really the only, I mean, unless the Rockets, unless they come together around the burner stuff and go on a run, I don't think that's gonna happen. So yeah, is that the only serious request for San Antonio?
Last one, Wemby Goat Agenda. Hey, Jeans and Pants, are the Spurs good enough to contend for a championship this year? I know they have an incredibly inconsistent offense when Wemby is off the floor, but watching their games gives me hope that they are actually a good team and not fake. Please let me know if this is possible or if I'm crazy and delusional. Thank you. Let's do yes or no. Are the Spurs a legit contender to win a championship this year? Is there a real chance for them this year? I will say no.
I'll say no.
I'd say dark horse, yes. In terms of like, okay, I can see a plausible world where it happens, but if I was making like a list of odds, they'd probably be 6th or 7th on my list in terms of top contenders.
Okay. Yeah. J-Dub hamstring obliterated. Aaron Gordon hamstring obliterated.
Oh,
I feel like the field opens up if those things happen.
And another Wemby growth spurt.
Yes.
But
10
also,
feet tall.
I think, and I can only speak for the guys that I know, I think OKC fans aren't confident in a Spurs playoff matchup. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean,
I wouldn't be either.
I mean, especially not after the way it's happened this season. But specifically, it's like, OKC can't really do anything to, like, Wemby's always just going to guard the worst shooter on the court. And it's like, in their second to last matchup when they lost, they made Caruso shoot like 11 threes. And it's like,
yeah,
that scares me if I'm OKC for sure.
I mean, yeah. So you said Wolves 3 for you?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't expect it. We're running out of different options here, so yeah, it kind of has to be them. Yeah. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What scares you about the Wolves?
For me, it's just the same thing it's been for years. I think, like I said, that those 4 categories I talked about, the size, athleticism, shooting, and lineup versatility, give them such a high playoff floor, but they still haven't taken enough leaps and sharpened up their offensive creation enough to be like, yes, we can get over the hump. So they're, to me, the best team that is just like so close to getting over that hump, but isn't into that top tier of contenders. So again, they're another like dark horse type of team where it's like, if everything goes right, I think a title is plausible, but I don't think that it's like a realistic outcome for the end of this season.
If they could just raise their floor, that's really what I hate about this team. Like, I feel like I've seen them blow more big leads than most serious teams this year. And I feel like in the clutch, the Spurs can be very scary in the clutch too, when Wemby is getting pushed out the way I was talking about. But in the clutch, it has been just like so unstable. Even when you have like Anthony Edwards playing out of his mind. Like, I was looking, he scored 48 times this year. They've only won 3 of those games. So like that's all, like, they're not even playing their best basketball when he's playing that way. And so, yeah, I do think I would honestly be fine if like they got their own tier where it's like we have more sample size of them being an incredible team than like any of these teams below them. But then you do talk about the 2 teams ahead of them. It's like, yeah, I don't know. There are flaws that are big enough to like keep them out of that conversation. They're a very weird team, but like I'll say this. Anthony Edwards playing incredibly, plus shooting, plus defense, is a very simple recipe that I expect to see in the playoffs. I think it will happen for them.
Let's go to some lobbies for Chris because we have 4 for these freaking bad boys.
Oh, shit.
First one is from...
Do 3. Don't do all 4. Come on,
We
man.
got Jaden McDaniels. First-time lobbyist and not really a long-time listener, but an enjoyer. The T-Wolves are probably making the Western Conference Finals with a hurt OKC. Haven't won a playoff series since 2017 Spurs. Hamstringless Aaron Gordon. KDF Rockets. No defense Lakers. And cap circumvent Clippers. Okay. My question is, the best kept secret in the NBA, how much the Mayo Clinic keeps the T-Wolves healthy? They have the least injuries to players playing 20-plus minutes since 2022. To be honest, you might want to fact-check this, though. Okay, all right, thanks. But still a great superpower to have. Also, in celebration of the greatest month of the year, happy Black History Month. What's your favorite Black anime character? Mine is either Killer Bee or Piccolo, spiritually. Well, first on the last part, is Rocks from One Piece Black? I don't know. But
I have no idea.
If he is, he might be the coolest. But I'll tell you what, I've been watching Fire Force, and I don't know his name, but there's a guy who makes spears out of fire, and he's very, very cool. So, as far as the rest of anime history, I don't know. I'd have to think. I'd have to think more.
Jet Black from Cowboy Bebop is my favorite. But also the Zoldyck Butler girl from the beginning of that arc is very cool too. Sorry, Tyler, we didn't mean to get in that nerd shit. Well, you can't even talk, dude.
Well, yeah, Tyler, name your favorite Black character in fiction.
Oh, okay. Open it up to fiction.
Black
what do you got?
Character in fiction. Oh my gosh, how do I even begin to answer this, dude? There's so many. The first guy that came to mind is, it's ironic because I've never even watched the show. But I see so many Franklin Saint edits.
Okay.
Franklin Saint is a pretty dope character. We got Huel from Breaking Bad's a good one. That guy came to mind as well. Huel Babino.
Yeah,
that is a good one. Have you seen Better Call Saul?
Oh yeah, love it.
I like the expansion we get on him, where he's very deft. He's like a pickpocket guy. That's sick. Yeah. I love him.
Yeah, I don't know.
This Mayo Clinic angle is very interesting. So since 2022, the least injuries to players playing over 20 minutes. And this is a team that's played a lot of athletic guys. And they've played like over like like very physically demanding styles, like hey, get up and freaking ambush people with your length and stuff. So for maybe the Mayo Clinic is a factor. Maybe it's the opposite of the electric substation that the 49ers and the Grizzlies are dealing with. Tyler, you know about the 49ers substation thing, right? You know the Grizzlies have one near them too.
Really? I did not know
that explains a lot.
So it's not because Edie's fucking 8 feet tall, 400 pounds. It's because of the substation, dude. That's why he can't stay healthy.
There we go.
All right. Okay, we can. Okay. Jaden McDaniels, enjoyer. The Timberwolves have beaten the Spurs twice, the Thunder twice, Boston Cavs, etc., but they've also lost to the Jazz, Brooklyn, Memphis twice, and the Pelicans, with all of these losses coming down to defensive effort. Do these wins and losses impact your view of them heading into the playoffs, or were they already solidified as the 3rd to 5th best team in the West?
Yes, they affect my point of view, but not to the point where it's like them versus Houston or something. It's like I was ready for this year to be like Thunder, Gap, Nuggets, and Wolves, Gap, rest of the West, and it hasn't shaken out that way for me. They've been worse than the top 2 teams, it feels like.
Yeah, I don't think it really changes my perception because it's like Draymond had that quote a few years ago where he's talking about like these random regular season games he just doesn't try in, like he just doesn't care about. And it's like what matters is your ability to turn it up in the playoffs. And I do think Minnesota has proven that they can turn it up in the playoffs and like bring that game to game intensity, especially Ant. Like I think Ant is a good example of a player who this year probably has played 5% of defensive possessions. But in the playoffs, we know that'll be more like 70%. And he's all of a sudden a very good defender. So yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. And then this last,
Pablo.
This last one is from Colin. Is a bench unit of Highland, Io, Terrence Shannon Jr. / Clark, and Naz Reid (parentheses Joan if needed) enough for Minnesota Timberwolves enough for my Minnesota Timberwolves to finally put it all together and make a finals appearance? In my opinion, it is. I think the Wolves should be looked at as unanimously as a top 2 team in the West. Are you guys willing to go that far?
Unanimously? I just think, I think that's impossible in this Western Conference. Even if you fought, like, I'm sure there are plenty of people who are like, Nuggets are too hurt or whatever, but I just think it's going to, especially when you have the best player tipping the scales, I think it's just going to be tough to, like, get that many people on board. But I don't know. It's not like an insane thing to think for them to be top 2.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with everything you said.
All right. Let's talk about the last 2 in conjunction with each other, because obviously the Nuggets pushed the Thunder 2-7 last year. I do think this is like the final tier of the West. What do you think about these 2 teams, like, in conjunction with each other? Do you think, like, are we destined for like a conference finals or like a playoff matchup here? And where do you think the strengths and weaknesses lie with both teams?
Yeah, it feels to me like this is like the collision course type of happening where it's I'm more my biggest hang up in this discussion is the health with both teams. Like, I don't know if J-Dub will ever, even if J-Dub's like on the court healthy, J-Dub hasn't been the J-Dub from last year, so that definitely moves the needle come playoff time. AJ Mitchell's been hurt too, and I think he's a huge part of their offense. On the Nuggets side, is Aaron Gordon going to exist in the playoffs? Like, I don't know what to make of all of that. What's Peyton Watson dealing with right now? Because he's
same thing. They both have hamstring injuries.
That's right. Yeah, I totally forgot. Same exact thing. They've both got hamstrings. Who knows if Christian Brown's going to be in the lineup? Who knows what Jokic is going to look like? Because he's had this rough patch, although he obviously cooked Portland last night.
Beast mode, 150 points. Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, I do think the strengths and weaknesses kind of come down to a similar thing as last year, where it's, can Denver take care of the ball, limit their turnovers? Can OKC's role players deliver when Denver gets into their aggressive shell type of defense? And I honestly think it's going to come down to which team is healthier. I don't think we're going to see both teams at full 100% health. It's going to come down to which team is healthier in that matchup, I think. Because, like I said, even if you get J-Dub back, even if Aaron Gordon's back, like, I don't expect all of the guys on both teams to be playing at their highest level.
Yeah, I agree.
But also, shout out Jared McCain. I think that actually might be a needle mover. I think Jared McCain's going to be in their playoff rotation.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking about here. Is like the Thunder. When you talk about like the role players punishing that aggressive style of defense, Jared McCain and Isaiah Joe are like two guys where it's like, at least to me, it feels like it would be a very logical pressure release valve switch for Dagnall to make. But there have been switches like that in the past that he elected to just kind of like brute force his way through. And he's like, I trust that Lou Dort will have like a big game 6 or right. whatever. And it worked. It came out on top in that. And so I don't know if that'll be the case this year, but it definitely has been interesting in Shai's absence to see both of those guys get all of these touches. And then I agree with the AJ Mitchell point too, where it's just like, I don't even know, like, if J-Dub could just be, like, I don't know. He doesn't even need to be last year. Like,
rookie. Just be rookie J-Dub.
Yeah, and just be, like, a cutter and be able to, like, hit his jumpers and stuff. AJ Mitchell's ball creation has been so strong that it's like, we can't, even with the health issues, you can still cobble together like a very elite team with this OKC roster. And that's why even in this nightmare stretch since they started 24-1, they're like the 6th best record in the league, tied for 6th best record. And so it's like, I feel like that contextualizes everything with them. But I hope Denver wins, and I hope Jokic's turnovers are the scariest thing to me coming back from the knee injury. He's had so many like stupid, lazy, like flopping, throwing it away kinds of plays. And I feel like that was a margin that OKC won in the matchup last year, was when he was trying to get, Caruso hit me. There was contact. I need to get this. And those are things that if he played through, maybe Denver could have gotten a better look. And instead, it was very easy points for OKC. So, yeah. Pablo, what do you think?
Well, we have 2 for the Denver Nuggets. The first one is from the Nikola Jokic of office workers. Epic. Hey guys, can we have a moment of celebration for the Cronkies saving money at the deadline? Okay, so what's up with Jokic? He's been so bad. Is it just rust from the injury layoff? Let me know quickly. I'm on my way to the nearest bridge after that Clippers game. Okay, bye.
Okay. Rest in peace to this guy. He didn't get to see the freaking first quarter nuke. Yeah, it probably is just injury stuff. I mean, Jokic has never missed a significant stretch of time. And so it's weird to be working your way back from it.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, shoot. All right, Jack, rapid fire this one. Hello, Goo and Nur. I don't give a fuck about basketball. Jack, I might be getting a delivery job soon. Any tips?
Rapid fire. I was terrible. I was in the most default get money economy of all time with COVID, where they just were. If you were I was a hero for bringing them
essential
their pizza.
Worker.
Yes, and so I don't know if it's still like that. All I know is if they have you carrying cash, cause a fuss. Don't carry cash around. But like they never had me doing that, and so I never got robbed. And yeah, that's my advice there.
What were you doing?
Delivering pizzas. And so when like in our parents' generation, I guess robbing a pizza guy was like an easy way to make like a cup, like $50-$100 because they would be carrying cash around and stuff. Never in my life was I carrying money around while I was delivering pizzas.
A friend of mine used to deliver ice, and he got robbed for a bag of ice on a hot summer day.
Bro.
So a guy came up to him and he said, hey, his words, and I don't know if my friend was gassing up the story, but his words were, hey, the block's hot. We could use a bag of ice. And my friend, his response was, are you joking? And then apparently like 20 dudes came out of the woodworks and they were like, does it look like we're joking? So he actually got robbed for a bag of ice.
Just one?
You just have it.
Just one bag of ice. Like, I don't know why they didn't take all of the ice.
Okay, because
Well,
they were
that's-
was
honorable.
indeed hot.
Yeah.
The block was hot.
That's
and they were fair.
respectable.
The block was
I
fair.
almost- I almost got that job once. They never freaking called me back, but they paid well. The ice deliveries.
Well,
They
it's
were
because it's a dangerous line of work.
Yes,
I guess.
yeah. If the block's
I
hot, you're
guess.
cooked.
I guess so. But we have one for the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is from Bark Dog Nalt. Hello, guys. Long-time
Wow.
lobbyist, first-time JJK enjoyer, and absolutely horrified at what they did to my boy Nanami. Can you give me another show to watch while I wait for the first half of season 3 to drop? Free run. Also, J-Dub's hamstring may be cooked. Do you think the Thunder can win in the playoffs without him?
What do you think, Tyler?
I think
Let's no J-Dub at all. What do you think?
no J-Dub at all. I still think it's possible to win the title. I think OKC's that good, and I think Shea's that good. I think it would definitely knock them a notch below where I'm like, these are my tier 1. Like, let's assume both Aaron Gordon and J-Dub are out with hamstring. I don't think there's a tier 1 anymore, like, in the whole league. Now I'm like, okay, it's Denver, OKC in this group with Minnesota, San Antonio that we talked about. And honestly, might be a hot take. If there is no J-Dub and no Aaron Gordon, I would probably lean Cleveland as my number 1 title team.
Okay. That is a very hot take.
Cleveland is a team that I've been wrong on before. Well, was I wrong last year? Like, they got destroyed by injuries. Like, was I really wrong for having them as the best team in the East? I had them losing in the finals to OKC last year.
I mean, that maybe would have happened if they were healthy, but I don't know.
I still think if they were healthy, Indiana probably still beats them. Like, I don't want to take away from what Indiana did, but it's definitely not like they're not getting like pushed over by Indiana like in the way they did.
Well, maybe this is if this is James Harden's finals appearance this year with this Cavs team.
Yes,
I'm always for the funniest thing happening. That would be hilarious. Honestly, that'd be fucking crazy after all this shit he's gone through.
Does the J-Dub absence hurt more offensively or defensively for
offensively?
For
their defense is just so good. Like, obviously, J-Dub's an amazing defensive player, but their defensive floor is so high that it's like you could take like even if they lost Lou Dort, they'd still probably be the best defense in the league come playoff time. For me, it's that secondary creator next to Shea. Like, in the regular season, that impact isn't really missed. Like, I think if J-Dub, let's say you ran a simulation of last season or maybe just this season, and it's like you get 82 games of J-Dub or 0 games
run the simulation
of J-Dub. Run the simulation in your head. I don't think their record would be that much different. I don't think their offensive rating would be that much different. But
it's checking
when
out.
you get to the playoffs, that second guy is super important for taking pressure off of Shea against an aggressive defense, especially like the Nuggets. So I do think like then AJ Mitchell would be forced to be that second guy for them, which I think he can do it. But then the third guy is Jared McCain. Instead of AJ Mitchell as your third guy,
And
which I
we're
will
going
say-
at that guy every position down.
and that's that's the downside of it. Like, Jared McCain can do that offensively, maybe, but then he's the weak link defensively, and then that has a cascading effect because J-Dub's lack of offense forces you to play these more offensive players, which then hurts the defense. So I do think it starts with J-Dub's offense, but it is a two-way like issue.
Any hope for Chet's offense in the offs?
I just don't have any high expectation. Like, I think Chet is a perfectly fine offensive player. I don't expect him to all of a sudden become a creator. I think Chet is perfectly fine and he's perfectly ahead of schedule. I just think because of the way Wemby's ascended, we're all like, why hasn't Chet done that yet? Like, Chet is in his 3rd season and is going to make probably an All-NBA second team. Like, that's fine. That's fine. I think he's a great player.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for coming on. I'll plug all your YouTube shit in the description. Is there anything else that you want to plug while you have the platform?
Nope. Hoopvenue, all platforms.
All right.
Appreciate you guys.
You were a trooper. I at the beginning I said that we don't have to go 2 hours 30. We go fucking 2:45. Beast mode. All right.
This is the exact runtime I had with Nerd Sesh too. And
Oh,
I made
okay.
a joke. I made a joke and I was like, people will see the length of this podcast on their feed and choose like, do I watch like Interstellar or Oppenheimer, or do I watch the Western Conference power rankings? The choice is obvious based on if they got to this point in the show.
Because
thing is,
freaking
we
Christopher
have-
Nolan could never do this, dude, and we could make Interstellar.
That is true. And
you
we have lobbyists freaking weighing us down. We take so long because we're men of the people. What are freaking Carson and Logan doing? They're just freaking yapping. It's just them. That's selfish.
They might be bone smashing though.
Whoever's got something left
That
to
could
give
be
in the
true.
fourth
Logan,
quarter wins.
Logan, he's got an angular face. He's probably smashing, dude.
Wins.
All right, David Robinson, take it away.
Up tempo means I'm gonna run you into the ground.